such as...
Omens are subject to interpretation.
And superstition.
Sometimes you clearly cannot acquire a taste.
The right woman is apt to fall in love with the wrong man.
And vice versa.
A perfectly innocent person may well be lynched for no good reason.
And some are dealt blows in life from which they simply cannot recover.
Or can they?
With the advent of fairy stories,
women in particular,
were led to believe that handsomeness and marriage were the ultimate aim in life.
that happy endings began with a sunset.
But were otherwise shrouded in mystery. And that all we had to do to achieve all three was to be pure of heart.
And body.
Kind to kittens.
and generally supplicant in every possible way.
It's only fair to comment at this point that prototype fairy tales said no such thing.
For example, the whole Cinderella extravaganza originated from a tale about a mutilated foot.
Charming.
And perhaps if we'd stuck with the originals, many of us...
Women in particular
Would not have wound up feeling so...
confused.
And?
Cheated.
Quite.
So, it's important then that you bear in mind that although we may start with a...
Once upon a time.
Or an...
In the beginning.
And although this is indeed the story about a boy and a girl...
and a boy and a girl...
You will find in place of happy endings.
open endings.
that the few contented individuals we meet are not merely disciples in the art of optimism.
But have instead a tendency not to overthink anything.
And that
Put simply.
people can be downright mean to one another.
So,
In the beginning.
I was born, married young to a man for whom I had no feeling, and who had little enough for me, but held a sensible position in government and was widely thought to have brilliant prospects, though why I've often wondered, for there is little of the light about him. We had a son, Seriosha, the one joy of my life, and no other children since then. Read into that what you may. What my life was before marriage is irrelevant. I have served the purpose for which I was bred, that of a prize, passed from father to husband, with a transferable family name, certificate of chastity, and guarantee of inexperience so that comparisons may not be made. For almost a decade, I have learnt to mask every contrary feeling, to appear still, serene, no matter what tempests may rage or fires blaze within me. No, that's not true. They don't. They haven't. Not for years. A captive soon becomes accustomed to his prison, so I am used to my life. I have made the best of what I have striven to find meaning in my life. But my boy is growing up. He will be 9 years old next birthday. 9. Then 10, 20, 30, and I shall be old. It seems impossible. What then to do with all I was or might have been, bereft of hoping, dreaming that I ever will or shall? There are many would mock me, I know. Poor wealthy woman, tormented by luxuries, oppressed by servants, piteously bewailing her own insignificance while others fight to eat. But what we all crave, surely, and what evades so very many of us, is the right to choose for ourselves, even if that choice may lead to ruin. Listen to me. I speak now to those of you still at liberty within the world, in whose sight I quietly rejoice, and recognize with envy the sweetness of expression, the hope that still exists within your eyes. Don't give it up for anyone. We do not belong to one another. We are not the other half of someone else. We are ourselves, whole, and if we choose to share our lives, then let it be with one from whom we do not shudder, who does not hesitate to meet us in embrace, who does not suck out every ounce of spirit, beauty, grace from our days to try to take it for their own. It is not impossible, I do believe, but if it cannot be found, then may it be left for lost, for no other substitute will do. Listen. Do you hear? The life may be suppressed, but it is not yet silenced, not yet ended. Steady, steady. Listen, do not mistake. Though I may live beneath a veil, there is yet a symphony within my soul.
There's a crowd.
At the station,
And a rumble.
on the rail,
And the platform.
starts to quiver.
as the cheering,
Whistle hails.
and the pistons,
Rise and circle.
and the air,
Explode the steam.
as the train,
Swings towards us.
Like a dragon.
From a dream.
Vronsky! You here too? Who are you meeting?
Oh, my mother.
Where did you go after the Shabatskys? We missed you.
Home.
Really?
I didn't care to be anywhere else.
By the mark of one steed I can tell his fine breed, and a young man in love by his eyes.
Who are you meeting?
Very pretty young lady.
Indeed.
My sister Anna.
Ah.
Do you know her?
No, I don't think so.
Did you see Lovin last night?
I did.
Good!
Briefly. He left rather early.
Did he? Oh, a splendid chap, Lovin, don't you think?
No.
What, really? Oh, I assure you he can be perfectly charming when he wishes.
You don't say. But tell me, Steve, why is it all Muscovites, at present company accepted of course, are on the defensive of every second of every minute of every day? And on every conceivable subject too. On croquet, for heaven's sake. Out come the little boxing gloves and away they go.
Oh, that's quite true. But Lovin has a heart of gold, I assure you, in spite of his...
Irascibility, if you say so.
If he was irritable last night, I believe there may have been certain mitigating circumstances.
That's cryptic, Steve-o. What do you mean?
I think he hoped to make an offer to my sister-in-law.
To Kitty?
Oh, yes, of course.
He planned to propose to Kitty?
Perhaps. I fancied something of the sort was afoot, and if he left early in a blether, it must mean...
Rejection?
Well, that or he lost his nerve again. That poor fellow. Been in love with Kitty a long time. Long time.
I think she could reckon on a better match.
Who? Oh, well, yes. Well, perhaps. Nevertheless, it's a painful state of affairs for him.
Humiliating.
Quite so.
He had far better pursue an Athanasian wench. Success for them is guaranteed, but far more dignified if you ask me.
Oh, dear me, yes, dignity. What's to be done? Listen, my friend, you're a man of the world, so to speak, and I'd value your opinion. Suppose you have a friend who's been married 8 years, whose wife, to put it bluntly, is rather ragged at the edges while he's still in his prime. Tragically, he realises that he doesn't love his wife with love anymore. And then, by sheer coincidence, love turns up. In the form of a woman so perfect, so utterly sublime that he's done for. He's quite done for.
My dear fellow.
What would you do?
I've no idea. I would have thought not getting married in the first place would seem to be the ticket.
Too late for that.
Would you like to know my code of conduct? Might help.
Very much.
Very well. Gambling debts must be paid, but your tailor need not be.
Good, right.
One may lie to a woman, but never to a man.
Well, naturally.
One may insult others with impunity, but one must never, ever forgive an insult to oneself.
Yes?
And lastly, one must never cheat anyone, unless, of course, it is a husband. Good?
It's good. It puts me in mind of my own code.
Which is?
Oh, it's very simple, more a vague quotation, really. Splendid it is indeed if I succeed in overcoming my earthly passions, but if I do not, well, who cares? For I've known happiness. It's something like that, anyway.
By heaven.
Oh, it's not my own composition. I'm paraphrased a little, actually, but it's to the point.
Steve.
Oh.
Alexei Kirilovich, you got my telegram? Good. You are well? Thank God. Everything in Petersburg was delightful. Alexander was almost well behaved, and Marie has grown so pretty I hardly recognized her. You will have to pay them a visit when you return.
Yes. How was your journey, Mother?
Long, sweet, isn't she? Anna Karenina. It has a certain ring to it, don't you think? Her husband put her in with me. They have a little boy of 8 years old whom she has never been parted from before, and she kept fretting over leaving him. You know what they say about mothers whom Molly called their sons? When the hearth is not stoked, one must turn to the candle. We've been talking all the way, haven't we, my dear? I of my son, and you of yours.
You must have been dreadfully bored.
Not at all. Thank you, Countess. The time has passed so quickly.
Oh, give me a kiss, my dear. I can speak plainly at my age and tell you that I've simply lost my heart to you. Her husband's quite celebrated, you know. Dry as all toast in my opinion, but they say he's an absolute luminary in government.
Public opinion is frequently pendulous and seldom reliable.
Just the one child, though. Nothing pendulous about that.
Mother?
And you, I hear. Vous voulez le parfait l'amour. Little Kitty Shabatsky, fresh as number.
Mother?
What days I never shall forget. His face as he leapt. I saw it with my own eyes. Twisted, distorted. The sin, the immortal sin. Leapt, he did, this man, this fiend. Just as the train pulled back. His wife tried to stop him. Well, she's with him now. Threw herself upon his body, screaming, weeping. Crushed he was, cut in two, you'll see. And the driver, oh, the poor man, the poor, poor man. Why, I fear he'll never recover.
Oh, can't we do something?
Anything. You, take this.
200 rubles. Who for?
For the widow. Who would have thought that was obvious?
Oh, splendid. Very nice, sir. Very nice.
And he sing, string upon silver string.
Alexa, come. A very selfish thing to do. Very selfish. How is it they don't take proper precautions?
Goodbye, Countess. Anna?
It's a moment.
What is it?
Oh, Steve.
Here is the fox's cosy lair.
I wonder, will we find him there?
God forgive him. Everything.
What? Oh, look, Anna. It was just some poor fellow with too much liquor in his belly and 20 open beaks at home. It's sad, but there's an end to it.
Yes.
Anna? Remember Papa. Omens are superstitions, deluded falsehoods for the lowliest of fools.
Yes. Perhaps. Come. I'm here. Let's talk of you. How's Daria?
So forgive me, Anna. And it's all my fault, though I'm not to blame. You know me. Don't count life as life without love. What am I to do? I'm made that way. Besides, one does so little harm and gives so much pleasure.
Steve.
Oh, it was that idiotic smile.
What smile?
Well, when Dahlia found out about her, and to my eternal shame, instead of feigning outrage or even begging for forgiveness, I smiled at her like a fool.
Didn't.
I did. Now she won't stop packing. I admit it's bad, her having been the children's governess, but what a governess. Oh, such roguish dark eyes, such a round
Don't.
little... Look, Anna, listen, whatever you may think of me, I swear I never touched her while she was under our roof. But the worst of it is that she's already...
Pregnant? And Daria knows. Oh, Steve.
I know.
Oh, girl.
Oh, I pity her, Anna, with all my heart I do, but it's not as if she's kept her looks.
Steve, you have simply grown used to Daria. And she has had 7 children in 8 years.
I don't deny it, but I refuse to lie to myself. Do I regret the incident with our governess? Not at all. Do I plan to stop seeing her? No. Do I lament hurting Dahlia? Of course. For it's hideous to see her so crushed. But it's done, and can't be undone, so what's to be done?
I think
Yes?
there is no solution but the universal solution life gives to all questions,
One must live in the present.
as the moment requires.
Well, I can do that. Will you talk to Dahlia for me?
Yes.
Oh, stop. Oh, you just calm down. Oh, the more I try to compose myself, the more out of breath I get. Oh, for the love of all that's holy, get a grip on yourself, man. How can you expect to marry her if you can't find voice enough to speak to her? That's the trouble with love. It's like a sort of madness. I mean, what sane person would set his sights on a being so radiantly perfect as Kitty Shabatsky? Would hide behind a tree at the zoological gardens just to watch her skate? It's shameful. I'm not worthy of her. That's why I went away before. Why I keep running away. Because this is nothing more than fantasy. An impossible happiness that does not exist on earth. But I can't stop thinking about her. So it must be settled, come hell or high water. Maybe hell. Probably both, actually. Madness, you see. This is life. This now is happiness. This. That's why I'm afraid to speak. I feel happy just to hope. But after... Oh, I must! Away with this weakness, away with doubt. Faith and hope and absolution. Faith.
Christ stands invisible before you to receive your confession. Do you believe in the doctrines of the Holy Apostolic Church? What are your special sins?
I have a past, not of love, but of shame.
What else?
Doubt.
What do you doubt?
I doubt.
What do you doubt in particular?
Everything. God.
What doubt can there be in the existence of God? How can you doubt the Creator when you contemplate his works?
I don't know.
You don't know? Then how can you doubt?
I don't understand it at all.
Go on.
Well, some people say that consciousness of existence is derived from the conjunction of all sensations, and that where the sensation ceases to exist, there is no further consciousness. I admit one can instinctively feel the connection between all the forces of nature.
What is your name?
Konstantin Dmitrievich Lyovin.
Are you married, Konstantin Dmitrievich?
No.
Why not?
No luck yet.
Pray to God and beseech him. Even the Holy Fathers had their doubts, and they prayed to God to strengthen their faith. Pray to God, Konstantin Dmitrievich, beseech him. Pray to God.
Our Father.
What upbringing do you hope to one day give your children, Konstantin Dmitrievich, if you do not vanquish the devil enticing you to unbelief?
Thy will be done.
If you love your child, you will not only desire wealth and honour for him, but his salvation, his spiritual advancement in the light of truth. Is that not so? Will you abandon him to the temptations of the world and the devil? May our Lord Jesus Christ, in the grace and bounty of his loving kindness toward all mankind, pardon this, his child. Lord, have mercy on us.
Lord, have mercy.
Amen.
Well, that was awkward.
There are many who tell their wives all about their past lives, past loves. My husband told me nothing. Until 3 days ago, I believed myself the only woman he had ever known, ever loved. And then to find that letter, his letter to my governess. Everything is over, everything. What am I to work for now? Oh, how I hate him. I mean, I physically hate him. I could kill him. And that smile, that odious good nature that makes everyone love and praise him so. He is happy and content, while I... For the last 3 days I have been packing and unpacking, packing and unpacking. I know I should. I must leave. Take the children to my mother's, but I cannot bring myself to do it. I know I must punish him, put him to shame. The truth is, I don't want to leave. I don't know how. I can't seem to stop myself from loving him or thinking of him as my husband. There's no escape. I'm so afraid of myself, of my own pathetic weakness. I was content before. Content! How is that possible? And the shame of it all. The household pities me, I know. Everywhere he goes, he meets with sympathy and understanding. And here I am like a worn-out glass suddenly filled with scalding water.
Daria. Daria, Anna is here.
I can't see her.
Oh, but you must, Daria, really.
Go away! Go away! Go away!
Daria, for God's sake! Daria, what can I say? Forgive me? Forgive. Cannot 9 years of our life together atone for a moment of passion?
Passion! Get out!
No, Daria, for mercy's sake, think of the children. They're not to blame. I am to blame. Punish me. I'm ready to do anything.
How can we live together? How? You are loathsome to me, repulsive, a stranger. Don't come near me. I will call the servants. The children, they will all see what you really are.
Daria, please.
I'm going away, so you may live here with your mistress and her bastard.
I will send word.
Has he gone?
Yes,
Gone.
not far.
But has he broken with her? Why didn't I ask him? No, reconciliation is impossible. I loved him. God, how I loved him.
Daria,
Dear, I don't want to speak for him, nor to try to comfort you. That's impossible. But darling, I'm simply sorry. Sorry from my heart for you.
All's over. And the worst of it is I can't cast him off. There are the children. I'm tied. And I can't live with him. It's torture for me to see him.
Yes, I understand. Daria, dearest, I do understand.
And do you suppose he understands all the awfulness of my position? No, not in the slightest.
No, you're wrong, he does.
I don't believe it.
I know more of the world than you do. I know how men like Steve look at it. He is so like our father. Such men are unfaithful, but somehow these other women are still looked on with contempt by them, and do not touch upon their feeling for their families. They draw a sort of line. I don't understand it, but it is so.
Nonsense. He cannot love me at all.
Daria, no. Who would not love you? It may be hard, very hard to understand, but I know that he does, as much as he is capable. I think if it is true that there are as many minds as there are heads, then there are as many kinds of love as there are hearts.
But he has kissed her, Anna. Kissed!
I know.
She's young, you see, she's pretty. My youth and beauty are gone.
Nonsense.
Taken by him and his children. So now, of course, any fresh little slut has more charm for him than I. No doubt they talked of me together. Or worse, they didn't speak of me at all. What's to say?
Daria.
Here lies Daria Alexandrovna, mother of 7 children, 5 living, 2 dead, and another on the way, always on the way.
Daria, darling, hush.
Could you forgive it?
I don't know.
If you knew that your husband had sought alternate company, had been alone with her and touched her. Are you laughing?
Oh, not you. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. It was just the thought of Alexei touching any... Never mind. Daria, listen to me. I can't judge. I mean, it is not for us to judge.
You sound like your husband.
No, I didn't intend... That is, you're right. He does say that, but he means the exact opposite and uses God for ballast.
Hum and sing. String upon silver string.
Anna?
Oh, it just came to me. The thought that none of us have the right to decide judgment. We're too at odds. We lie to ourselves, hope for leniency for our own sins and what we call justice for those who've sinned against us. But we're too small somehow to decide. It is for God, I think, not men.
But if you were me, here and now, and you had to make a choice.
Then yes, I could. I would not be the same, no, but I would forgive, and forgive as if it had never been at all.
Yes, of course, or it would not be forgiveness. When one forgives, it must be completely.
God forgive us.
Forgive us. Forgive us. Everything.
It's good to see you, Daria.
You too, my dear, truly. It has made things better. Ever so much better. Now we must get you settled. A bath?
Wonderful.
I'll see to it at once. Oh, sorry I said slut.
I don't blame you. Heaven knows if they'll really make it up. Unity is desirable, even if only the outward show to protect the family from society. I've such a strange sensation in my heart, a sort of apprehensive pleasure, like fear, only sweeter. Do you remember how it felt when, no longer a child, not quite an adult, you first placed your feet upon life's bright path? The splendour and the dread and the blue, blue haze of the world before you, replete with possibilities. It's ridiculous. He is only one of hundreds of young men that are met and dismissed everywhere. I will not waste another thought on him. Oh, but the way he looked at me, as if he understood, as if he wanted to. How strange that after all the hours, all the days, all the years of nothing, I should meet a man upon a platform for whom I gladly would have given up my whole life. If he had asked, a stranger. Oh, I must not stay here long. I will keep at home, make no calls, receive no visitors, return to Petersburg just exactly as I left. I will not go out.
a canon. Don't tell me you've attended confession. How long has it been?
9 years.
9! And you call me a nihilist? What prompted this?
Don't ask.
Oh, very well, but I can guess. Does she stand about so high in answer to the name of Kitty?
You know?
Everyone does.
Don't you think it's possible? Wait, stop, don't answer yet. Understand that this is a question of life and death for me. So, for God's sake, be perfectly honest. Could she possibly? Oh, but if refusal is in store, indeed I feel sure.
Why would you think that?
It seems inevitable, and that would be awful for both of us.
Nonsense. Every girl's proud of an offer.
Not she.
Oh, now my wife is a wonderful woman.
Yes, a wonderful woman. What of it? What's that?
Oh, yes, she has a gift. She sees right through people. But that's not all. She knows what will come to pass, and she says that Kitty is sure to be your wife.
She says that? Mm-hmm. Oh, I always said she was exquisite, your wife! That's enough said about it.
All right, but do come over here and stop scuttling about. It's exhausting to watch.
One thing's awful. You're married, you know the feeling. It's awful that we're older, with a past brought all at once into the realm of a creature so pure, so innocent, so perfect.
You can't have much on your conscience.
All the same, when I go over my life, I bitterly regret it. If she consents, I shall tell her the truth. Show her my diaries.
Good Lord, why?
Well, it's only fair.
Truth can be overrated.
Not in marriage.
Listen, there's one other thing I want to mention. You remember Vronsky from last night? You know, tall, dashing, unreasonably handsome.
Don't recall.
Well, you should. He's your rival.
What? Who is he?
He's one of the sons of Count Kirill Ivanich Vronsky. Fearfully rich, intelligent, great connections, and on top of all that, a damned good-natured fellow. He's a cultivated man too. Man will make his mark. Well, he turned up here shortly after you'd gone back to the country, last time, you know, and, well, cut a long story short, he's head over heels in love with Kitty, and you know her mum.
Well, excuse me, but I know nothing.
Now, don't growl. I believe the odds are in your favour, but I should advise you to settle the thing as soon as you can and no more differing. Where are you going?
What's the Shabatskys?
No, it's too early. Come for some food. I invite you to supper at ours, but I'm not quite welcome there at present, don't you know?
Ah. All happy families are alike, but each unhappy family is unhappy in its own distinct way.
Where did you hear that?
I made it up.
Oh, not bad. So, to the hermitage. How about some turbot? You like turbot, don't you?
Oh yes, I'm awfully fond of turbot.
Wonderful. You coming then?
No.
Thought not. A plus tard, mon ami. Bonne chance.
Thank heavens it's one of my good days. If there was ever an evening when I needed to be in full possession of all my forces, this is it. Oh, Daria, dearest, please stop crying.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. It was all I could do to come tonight, and really I only managed because the prospect of telling Mama all about it was beyond my strength. But I can't help crying. Anger is far easier to bear.
Did you hear from Steve?
He sent a note. He'll be along later. I asked him to bring Anna Karenina with him. Mind you, I practically had to beg her to come. I think she misses Seryoja terribly.
Is she much changed?
Not at all, she's as delightful as ever. Oh, that sounded dismissive, but truly, she is. I'm just not in the mood. Oh, forgive me, Kitty. I need to be alone. I'll hide in your room for a while if that's all right.
Of course.
You look so pretty.
Everything depends upon this night. My whole future. He will be here, and he will be here, and I will have to choose. But how impossible that seems. It is very pleasant for me to think of Kostya. With him, everything is simple and clear. He asks nothing of me other than I be myself, and seems content with the little that must be. With Alexia, I am always awkward, ill at ease, as if there is some false note, not in him, but in me. Perhaps that's what love is. Constant discomfort, self-doubt, fumbling around to be something you're not, to impress and entice the man you desire. And he is the man I desire, how could he not be? When I think of him, I can't breathe. See, my palms are sweating. Then, in addition to all his charms, he is, according to Mamma, not simply a good match, but a brilliant one. One of the finest specimens of the gilded youth of Petersburg. And he has chosen me from all the others. Me. But can I tell Kostya I do not love him? That would be a lie. What should I say? That I love someone else? Impossible. Should I say I'm indisposed?
Kitty.
Kostya! How long have you been here?
Not long. I came yesterday, but you know that. Oh, you meant here, in your house. Have I been here long?
Yes.
No, not long.
Why did you leave so suddenly?
Where?
Yesterday. We all wondered where
My brother. I had to see my brother, the elder one.
Koznichev.
About the younger one.
Nikolai.
Yes, you remember.
Of course.
I didn't know you could skate so well.
Skate?
I saw you this afternoon at the Zoological Gardens. I was passing and I saw you. I happened to be passing.
Oh. I hear you are a wonderful skater.
Yes, once upon a time. I wanted to be perfect at it. To skate with passion.
You seem to do everything with passion.
There's no other way to live.
I should like so much to see you skate.
Then let us go now. Together we could go now.
Kostya!
Kitty.
Surely you must feel rather dull in the country, in the winter, don't you?
Not at all. I'm always very busy.
Are you here for long?
I don't know.
How is it you don't know?
It all depends on you. Oh, merciful heavens. Kitty, please. Merciful God, help me. Guide me. Listen. It's true. It does depend on you. Everything depends on you. I came for this. To ask you, no to beg. No, not to beg. That sounds foolish. Please. Be my wife.
That cannot be. Forgive me.
Of course. Of course not. It was bound to be so. I know nothing
Kostya.
about anything. How I hate myself.
Well, well, Constantine Dmitrich back again in our corrupt Babylon.
Oh, I'm flattered you remember my words so well, Countess. They must have made a great impression on you.
Naturally, I write down everything you say. Well, Kitty, how flushed you look. Have you been skating again today? They say exercise is wonderful for the complexion, so long as you don't overexert. Count Vronsky, you remember Konstantin Dmitrich, do you not? He was here last night, fluttering about like a caged moth.
Yes. You left rather suddenly.
Konstantin Dmitrich despises town and us townspeople.
Do you tend then to live in the country?
Yes, except when I'm in town.
I like the country. On occasion.
But I hope, Count, you would not wish to live there always.
I don't know. I've never tried for long. I must say, though, I've never felt so homesick for the Russian countryside with bast shoes and peasants, as I did whilst wintering with my mother in Nice. Nice is dull in itself, and as you know, Naples and Sorrento will only do for a short stay. But it struck me at the time that one never knows how much something means to one until it is far out of one's reach.
Perfect.
Don't go, Konstantin Dmitrich. I have not yet seen you dance. It does amuse me so.
I don't dance when it's possible not to dance.
But tonight it is impossible.
So let us start.
Everything is just beginning.
Everything.
Everything.
Everything is made bright by her. Hers is the smile that sheds light on all around her.
My heart will not be still.
Wherever she stands is like a holy shrine. Untouchable.
It's almost like
Terrified. This isn't love. I've been in love before. And this isn't it. It's beyond love. It's as if a sort of force has taken possession of me. She is everything.
I find myself better.
Everything.
Purer. I feel that I have a heart that there is good in me. Through her.
To deny the facts is no answer.
Truth is everything.
Everything.
Oh, those sweet, loving eyes. Those lips. Love is everything.
Everything.
It is the pivot upon which all things turn.
There's no forcing it.
Forgive me, please.
Forgive.
Forgive.
Everything is before you.
The future is yours.
The present is mine.
And the present.
It's not all it might be.
One can't tear the past up by its roots.
One can't tear it out.
Lord, have mercy on us.
Lord have mercy. Now I can go.
Anna Karenina, how delightful. I heard you were in town, but not at home to eager visitors. How mysterious of you. Yet here you are. You know the Princess Shabatsky, of course.
Of course. How lovely it is to be your age, my dear.
You came into the room dancing.
The princess is one of my most faithful helpers. Whenever there is a ball, she is the first to stand up and the last to sit down.
I'm sure she beautifies any room she cares to grace. Don't you think so, Count?
What? Yes. Anna Arkadievna. May I have the pleasure?
You know one another?
We met at the railway station.
Thank you, Count. But I'm not going to stay. You should dance with the Princess Shabatsky. Why, as it is, I've already danced more here tonight than I have all winter in Petersburg. I must rest a little before my journey tomorrow.
You're leaving?
Yes, I must. Good night.
What is she so vexed with him about? He, usually so self-possessed, looks utterly bewildered. Why?
I thought you would have forgotten me.
Impossible. Those deep grey eyes. The slight smile that curves across your red lips. The suppressed animation that plays upon your face is forever branded on my heart.
Don't speak so.
You have deliberately shrouded the light in your eyes, but it gleams forth, brims over. I see it.
You must stop.
Would not offend you. I only want to save myself, but I don't know how.
Every time he speaks to her, she looks delighted, intoxicated. She tries to control it, but cannot help but show. And what of him? Oh.
Kitty, are you quite well?
It's nothing. Please go into supper. I'll join you presently. But perhaps I'm wrong. Perhaps it was not so. Yes, it was. He has never looked at me like that. Not once. Submissive, fearful. As if he wished to fall at her feet in adoration. Oh, God, forgive me. I have refused a man whom perhaps I love, through vanity and misplaced faith in another.
I knew it. There's something objectionable about me which repels people. They say I am proud. I have no pride. If I had, I should not have put myself in such a position as that. It's my own fault. What right had I to imagine she would ever think of me? Who am I? A nobody. Unwanted. No use to anyone. As for that Petersburg dandy, they're all alike. All trash. And turned out by the dozen. How could she be such a fool? Wait, that's not fair. She's young. Innocent. Ah! Nikolai's absolutely right. Everything in this world is evil. And has anyone ever been fair in their judgment of him? They see him drunk, in his ragged coat, and of course he looks despicable. But I know his heart, and I know that in the depths of his soul he is no worse than the people who despise him. Yet, instead of going there, I went and saw them. Masochist that I am. Well, it's not too late. I shall go and call on him now. Show him that I love him and make him open his heart to me. He at least or not reject me. And in the morning I shall get the first train out of Moscow and start a new life. Yes, that's what I shall do. Start over. I'll not think of her, or love, or marriage ever again. Never! I am such a fool. Who would ever want to be with me?
Now I must go. I must. And it really had better be today.
But why? Anna, you're behaving so strangely.
Do you think so? I keep wanting to cry. It's very stupid. I didn't want to leave Petersburg, and now I don't want to leave Moscow.
Then stay.
I can't. Seryozha needs me. I mustn't.
You've been so kind.
Don't, Daria. I've done nothing.
Nothing? Why, if it hadn't been for you, God knows what would have happened. You've such a good heart, Anna. So clear and straight.
Oh, every heart has its secrets.
Not yours.
I wish that were true.
Anna.
Do you know why I'm going away today? Why Kitty didn't come to breakfast. She's angry with me because... But truly, I didn't mean to. Or perhaps I did a little, I don't know, but I could never let myself. Oh, I cannot be like Papa.
Steva told me you danced with Count Vronsky last night.
Now I'm blushing. Wonderful.
And that Kitty found herself rebuffed.
I didn't mean for that to happen, truly.
I believe you. And I'm grateful to you. I was never anxious for Kitty to marry him. And it's certainly better it should come to nothing if he is capable of falling in love with you in a single day.
Heavens, that would be too silly. You'll make it right, Daria, won't you? I did so want you all to care for me as I do you. Yet here I am now, having made an enemy of Kitty. How foolish I am today.
Anna, listen. Remember that I love you, and shall always love you as my dearest friend.
Why?
You understood me, and you understand. Goodbye, my darling.
11 o'clock. I've been awake for 27 hours and I don't even feel it. On the contrary, I feel like a king. Not because I believe I've made any impression on her, far from it, but the impression she has left on me fills me with such happiness, such pride and light. What need have I of sleep? Mind you, I did sleep well the night before. An evening with Kitty Shabatsky will do that to you, like a good glass of warm milk. But this woman, oh, she is red wine and spices and roses at midnight. What will come of it all, I do not know. I cannot even consider. But all my powers, hitherto dissipated, are now bent towards one single blissful goal. The whole happiness, the whole meaning of my life lies in seeing her. There is nothing else. Here she is now. How may I be of service to you, Anna Arkadyevna?
What are you doing here?
I came here to see you.
Why?
Must be wherever you are, I cannot help it.
You should not. If you are a gentleman, you will forget this. Forget me as I shall forget you.
Not one word, not one gesture of yours could I ever forget.
Don't. You must not. You must not.
Anna Arkadyevna.
All aboard!
Thank heavens. Tomorrow I shall see Seryozha and Alexei Alexandrovich, and my life can continue as before.
Are you warm, my girl?
Oh, he ought to be ashamed of himself. But what has he to be ashamed of? What have I? So we danced together. What of that? There was nothing improper.
Are you warm, my beauty?
Are you warm, my sweet?
Well, then my conduct was not shameful.
Was it not?
There is nothing between this officer boy and I that does not exist between myself and any other man of my acquaintance.
Shameful confession, if it were true.
What am I doing? Am I myself or someone else?
Warm.
Whoa.
Warm.
Hot.
So Vronsky said something silly, but I answered him exactly as I should, and I gave him no encouragement. I needn't tell Alexei Alexandrovich about it. To speak of it will give it an importance that it does not have. Don't you agree? There is nothing between us.
Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Only slavish adoration.
No.
Reverential ecstasy.
Do you think?
Hot.
Hot!
Hot. Oily. You're back early, sir.
I got tired of it, Agatha.
You in low spirits?
Why should I be?
Never mind, sir. So long as you've good health and a clear conscience.
I saw Nikolai in Moscow.
How was he?
Very bad, Agatha. Consumptive. But he was glad to see me, I think.
I'm sorry to hear that, sir. You ought to take yourselves off to some watering place. Do you both the world of good?
Yes, well, unfortunately, there were other considerations besides him and me.
Oh, that woman of his, eh? You don't want to worry about her.
I do worry, Agatha, and I prefer you don't mention her.
The world's the world, sir. You won't change it by pretending.
Wouldn't go if I asked him. Besides, I only just got back. I've got business to attend to.
Business. You ought to get married, that's what.
Thank you, Agatha Mikhailovna.
Would you like some tea?
Thanks. Everything will be different from now on. It must be. I did what I set out to do. I got my answer, and that's that. At least I won't reproach myself in future years. I hope that's true. What is it makes us push on till the end, knowing the final answer all along? I knew it would be so. I knew. It's so humiliating. I must do something with myself, but what?
Bailiff said to tell you Pavers carved.
Thank you, Agatha. Tell them to bring a lantern. I'll come and look at her. Of course. Here is the answer. The simplicity, the purity, the sanity of the life I already have is the only way to fill the void left by this misadventure. But how to resume when everything seems changed, shifted in a way I cannot explain, yet know with every instinct to be true. Yes, that's it. I shall devote myself to the discovery of an entirely new system of farming, a sophisticated method which will be benevolent and beneficial to all. In place of poverty, we will have universal prosperity and contentment instead of hostility, harmony, and unity of interests. A bloodless revolution beginning in the little circle of our district, then reaching the provinces, Russia, the whole world. I will write it all down, publish, and the fact that the author shall be I, Kostya, pitiful Yovin, is neither here nor there. I have no idea how to set about it, but that is of no consequence. I will work it out later. The important thing is that I have a goal, something to strive for. Then she won't matter anymore.
Petersburg! Hand over that telegram. This way!
Number 28.
Madam Karenina.
You came to meet me.
Yes, as you see, your devoted spouse burned with such impatience to see you that he has placed himself at the inconvenience of rushing trains in spite of his arduous schedule.
Thank you.
Is this all the reward I get for my fervour?
Is Serioja quite well?
Oh, quite. He has not missed you at all, unlike your husband. Tell me, what are they saying in Moscow about the new measure I passed last week?
I'm afraid I heard nothing of it.
Truly, it has created quite the stir here, I assure you.
Did you have a good night, Madame Karenina?
Excellent. Thank you. Count Vronsky, my husband, Alexei Alexandrovich Karenin.
Ah, yes, I believe we've met somewhere or other. Well, my dear, you set off with the mother and returned with the son. How very tidy of you. Here's my arm. Tell me, were there many tears shed in Moscow when you left?
I hope I may have the honour of calling on you.
Delighted. We're at home on Mondays. Now, my dear, romance aside, I've actually come to bring you some money, since we know nightingales don't live on fairy tales. You need it, I expect.
Oh, no, I don't. Well, yes, I do.
Kondraty is here with the carriage for you. I have to go to my committee. Yes. My solitude is over. You would not believe how irksome it is to dine alone. Well, au revoir, my dear.
Oh, mercy. Why do his ears look like that? Has he had his hair cut too short? After all, he's a good man.
A bigot!
A dullard.
Upright, kind, remarkable in his own field.
A moral prig.
I know where I am with him.
All the variety, all the charm, all the beauty of life is made up of light and shade.
Oh, I want to live.
There is something strange about Anna Karenina.
She is quite changed since her return from Moscow.
Ah, she has brought back a shadow with her.
And what a charming silhouette he has too.
Every well-bred woman should have an acolyte of her own.
And her husband hardly does.
If I were her, I'd have done it years ago.
Oh, cockerel with your golden crest.
Beautiful hackles and silky breasts.
Open the window, won't you please?
And I shall give you your fill of these.
Why didn't you come to dinner last night, Count?
He was there for just as long as it took to realise he wasn't. Practically ran out, she did.
No!
Practically. But I saw her expression.
Wow.
As if the floorboards had been wrenched from beneath her feet.
May I be frank with you?
Darling, of course.
I never liked her much.
Nor I.
Of course I've always been polite to her.
You are the soul of courtesy.
But just the same, I've often felt she had her own...
Agenda?
Precisely.
I have just had a letter from Moscow. Kitty Shabatsky is very ill.
Indeed?
You don't seem interested.
Oh, on the contrary, I am. Very much.
You know, I often think men don't understand the meaning of honour, although they're always speaking about it. I wanted to tell you for a long time. You behave badly. Very badly indeed.
You suppose I don't know that? Who was the cause?
Why do you say that?
You know why.
That only shows you have no heart.
I have no heart for Kitty Shabatsky. It was a mistake, not love.
I forbid you to mention
You
that
forbid
word.
me.
I have long meant
I
to say
rather
to you.
like that.
I came here on purpose tonight to tell you that this must stop. I have never had to blush in front of anyone before, but you make me feel as though I were guilty of something.
What do you wish of me?
I'll go to Moscow. Beg Kitty's forgiveness.
You don't want that.
If you love me as you say you do, I have a child.
Seryoja, 8 years old, I know.
No, you don't. He is a moral compass to me. He shows me the proper course. Every moment with you takes me farther and farther
I
astray.
cannot stop, Anna. I will not stop. You are my life.
Then do what will give me
There
peace. I
can
beg
be
you.
no peace. We have only misery and despair or happiness. Such happiness, can you not see it?
I cannot.
Anna,
Friendship is all I can offer you.
friends we shall never be, you know that. Very well. If that is what you wish of me, command me to disappear and I shall disappear. You will not have to see me if my presence is distasteful to you.
I don't want to drive you away.
Your husband is watching us.
He won't see.
There is only one happiness in life for me. The word you dislike so. Yes. Love.
I dislike the word because it means too much to me.
This
Far
is
more than
becoming
you can ever
proper.
understand.
What did I tell you? She is caught now, my dear.
Prepare the lumps of mud!
Others noticed. I felt it. Therefore there must have been something to notice. But how far can one trust a feeling? This thing must be settled and put a stop to. I will tell her frankly of my decision, but tell her what? What precisely has occurred? It's hardly unusual in society for a married woman to talk to an unmarried man. But if they thought so too, then her conduct must have been improper, Yes, I must speak to her and put a stop to it, express my views. But what has occurred? Nothing! Oh, I'm going in circles. The question, could she have feelings of her own, separate from mine, from our life together? Is it possible? And if it is, could she for him? No, that's irrelevant. That is the affair of her conscience and God. My duty is clear. As head of this family, it is my responsibility to guide her, to point out the danger. I shall deliver an informal address as follows. Firstly, an exposition of the importance of public opinion and propriety. Secondly, a tender clarification of the religious significance of marriage. Thirdly, if need be, a reference to the unhappiness which might result to our son. Yes, that's it. Order shall be restored.
You're not in bed?
No. Anna, it is necessary for me to have a little talk with you.
With me?
Yes. Anna, I must warn you. I am obliged to tell you that your behaviour this evening was unbecoming.
In what way?
Your rather too animated conversation with Count Vronsky attracted distasteful attention.
That's so like you. One minute you dislike my being dull, the next you object to my being lively. Perhaps you're so used to the former that the latter offends you.
Careful, my dear. I should not have to warn you to conduct yourself in public so that malicious tongues can find nothing to say against you. Your father...
Don't speak of him. I'm not him.
He doesn't care. Other people noticed. That's what upsets him.
Very well. I consider jealousy, as you know, to be a degrading state of mind, and I will never allow myself to be influenced by it. But there are certain rules of decorum which cannot be disregarded with impunity.
Indeed.
Anna, is this you?
Who knows?
My heart is closed to you and ever shall be in the future.
Oh, please don't do that. I do dislike it so. Well, what more?
To enter into the details of your feelings, I have no right. Besides, I regard that as useless and even harmful. Ferreting about in one's soul, one often ferrets out something that might have lain there unnoticed.
How very sensible you are.
But I am duty-bound to point out your obligations. Our life has been joined not by man, but by God. That union can only be severed by a crime, and a crime of that nature brings its own eternal punishment.
Alexei Alexandrovich, really, I don't understand. Define what it is
Let me finish, please. I am your husband, and I love you.
Love? Can he love?
But I am not thinking of myself, I'm thinking of you and our son. Now, it may well be that my words are utterly unnecessary, that I've been mistaken, but if you are conscious of even the smallest foundation for them, then I beg you to speak out to me.
I have nothing to say.
You are sure?
Quite sure.
Then you would have us live with evil and deceit. You will be damned.
How silly you are tonight. It's late. Get some sleep. You'll feel better in the morning. He knows. He sees. But all he cares about is propriety. I am a bad woman. A guilty woman. In thought, if not in deed. But I can't stand falsehood while he lives upon it. I am your husband and I love you. He does not know how to love. Oh, I despise him. This is how hearts are broken, lives ruined, this petty dryness of being that insists upon morality and possession over truthfulness and love. He is not my husband. He is nothing to me.
It's late.
Late.
Too late.
Lord have mercy on us.
I can find no way beyond this longing for him. It consumes me. All I want is to say his name over and over again.
In my opinion, women are the chief stumbling block in a man's career.
There is only one way of having love convenient, and that is to marry. With marriage, you simply tie a burden on your back and your hands are free. Without it, why, your hands will always be so full that you will drag the burden about wherever you go, and there will be time for nothing else. Look at Mazankov and Krupov. They ruin their careers for the sake of women.
Ah, but what women? queen, and all her kind are vermin, 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 vermin. For pity's sake.
These kisses. Oh, these are what have been bought by my shame. And this hand. It will always be mine. The hand of my accomplice. I have nothing but you now. Remember that.
I cannot give up what is my whole life for one instant of this happiness.
Happiness? Oh, do not speak of it. Do not speak of it at all.
Well, what did the doctor say? Kitty, talk to me, please. Lily is not well and I'm afraid it's scarlet fever. I have come here now to hear your news, but if God forbid it is scarlet fever, I shall have to stay at home and we will not have another opportunity.
What about Steve?
Oh, I hardly see him. Kitty, do you really believe I could help knowing?
Don't talk about it, please.
Believe me when I say we've all been through it. And it's of so little consequence. He is not worth suffering for.
Because he has slighted me, I know.
I'm sure he was in love with you, and might still be if there hadn't been...
Oh, this sympathy's worse than everything else.
Kitty!
What do you want me to say? That I was in love with a man who did not care two straws for me? That I'm dying of love for him? Can you think me so weak?
You are being unfair. I see that you're unhappy.
Can't you listen? There is nothing for me to grieve over and no need at all for your petty humbug.
Gotcha!
I have enough pride never to let myself care for a man who does not love me.
Tell me the truth then. Did Liovin speak to you?
What's Liovin to do with it? Why do you torment me? I've told you, and I say it again, I would never, never do as you have done. Go back to a man who has betrayed you, who loves another woman. I can't understand it. I can't. You may do it, but I could not. Oh, Daria, dearest, I am so wretched.
I understand.
It's not unhappiness, not depression, but something much worse. It's as though all the good in me has disappeared, leaving only evil. Everything appears vile and odious. That is my illness. Perhaps it will pass.
It will pass. You will wake up one fine morning and say to yourself, why? I am quite happy and well again.
But the humiliation.
You did nothing wrong.
Oh, I did. Worse than wrong. Shameful.
It was shameful. Did you tell him you loved him?
Of course not, but he knew. There are looks. There are ways. If I live to be 100, I shall never forget. I hate him, and I cannot forgive myself.
Hate. How young you are. Try not to think about it.
I can't help it. And it serves me right because it was all a sham. And I knew it. I knew I was not myself with him.
Welcome, guests. What a marvellous house this is. So light, so airy, and what a dear old nurse you have. Now, a pretty maid in an apron would be preferable, but no doubt with your monastic lifestyle, the old nurse suits you better. Oh, but this is life, surely. This is how I should like to live.
Well, what's stopping you then?
But you're a lucky fellow. You see, you like horses. You have them. Dogs, you have them too. Farming in abundance. You do exactly what you love, and you have the good sense not to go fretting after anything more.
And how are your affairs?
Mine? As always, I jig along. You know, Kitty will be spending the summer with Daria not far from here.
Oh, really? And how is she? Better?
Oh, quite well again, thank God.
Where's Vronsky now? No, I don't wish to know.
He's in Petersburg. He left directly after you did, never to return. You know, Kostya, I'll be frank with you, it's your own fault.
What is?
You took fright at the sight of a rival. Why didn't you stay and fight it out? Come back with me to Moscow.
No! Katerina Alexandrovna is nothing to me now but a painful and humiliating memory.
What nonsense.
I must have some physical exercise or my temper will go to pieces.
My dear fellow.
All this is vanity. It's nothing. I will tell you frankly, I do value my work. But in reality, just think. This whole world of ours is nothing more than a speck of mildew. And for us to suppose that we can have something great, work, life, well, it's all dust and ashes.
Well, of course. Well, now you're coming round to my philosophy. You want everything in life to be consistent, to have a definite purpose. That's your problem. Do you remember how you once attacked me for saying that I thought the whole purpose of civilization was pleasure? You said if that were true, you'd rather be a savage, remember? Be not so severe, O moralist.
I still think that when you've grasped life fully and you realise that everything will in the end come to nothing, then everything else seems pointless, and so one goes on living, amusing oneself with nonsensical, impracticable theories, everything, so as not to think of the end. I still think life is fine, but all I know is that we'll all soon be vapour.
Why so soon? My dear Costa, I've never seen you so depressed.
My brother Nikolai came to see me last month. He's dying, and I can't speak to him about it. He won't admit it. He won't hear of it. Yet we both know it's true. What can I say to him? How can I help him? I'd even forgotten there was such a thing. And now I can't stop thinking about it. The inevitable end of everything. Here I am, working, hoping to accomplish something, and for what? My back teeth are starting to decay. Grey hairs!
Where?
Well, here and there. Don't! I know where they are!
Oh, come to Paris with me. You'll see how jolly life is.
No thanks. I've done with it all.
What an idea! Why, I'm just getting ready to live.
Yes, I thought the same not long ago. Things change.
It's all too upsetting. Don't you think so?
Almost barbaric.
Oh, I agree.
Hardly a graceful worldly liaison.
In my opinion, it's downright uncivilised.
Lions and gladiators.
Only rather less admirable.
I hear it's a desperate battle-like passion.
He'll ruin his life,
His career.
his family.
She'll drag him down.
Selfish gal.
Princess Awager, who is your favourite?
Oh, I'm for Karenin.
And I for Vronsky.
A pair of gloves.
Agreed.
Lost in thought.
Alexei!
My love, your hands are so cold. Are you unwell?
No, I'm quite well. You startled me though. I was expecting Seryozha. He's out for his walk.
Forgive me for coming here. I find I cannot pass the day without seeing you.
Forgive. I'm so glad.
What were you thinking of just then?
Then? Nothing.
Nothing.
You believed I would say you. Always you. Confess now.
I rather did.
Such vanity.
Right though, am I not?
You rather are.
Anna. Anna, I know you. There's something else. That's your husband.
No, this has nothing to do with him.
Then your son.
Shall I tell you?
Yes. You are certain. Neither you nor I have ever looked on our relations as a passing amusement. Now our fate is sealed. It is absolutely necessary we end this deception in which we are living.
Yes, but how?
Leave your husband, make our life one.
Oh, Alexei, it is one as it is.
Yes, but I mean completely.
But how? Tell me how. Am I not the wife of my husband?
Then we must make a choice. Anything would be better than this. Do you think I don't see how you torture yourself over your son? Over everything, the world, your husband?
Not over him. He doesn't exist.
You don't mean that. I know you.
All he thinks of is propriety, but we won't speak.
You cannot stay like this, especially now.
What do you suggest I do?
Tell him everything and leave.
Run away.
Why not?
Become your mistress.
Anna!
Become your mistress and complete
I
the
don't
ruin of my...
understand. How can you endure such a state of deceit and not long to get out of it?
I do long to get out of it.
But what?
My son. You must not speak of this again. Promise me. Promise me. Do you know, I often think you have ruined your whole life for me.
I was just thinking the very same thing of you. How you could sacrifice everything for my sake. Oh, I can't forgive myself that you're unhappy.
Unhappy? I'm like a hungry man who has been given food. He may be poor, ashamed, dressed in rags, but he is not unhappy. I am happy. No, this is my happiness.
Where are you, my dear?
Go.
When?
My husband!
When?
Tonight, 1 o'clock. Now go.
There you are.
Oh no, at first things were rather uncomfortable, but now we've settled in nicely.
I wish you'd sent word to me when you arrived. I got a note from Steve telling me you were here.
Did you?
He said he thought she might allow me to be of use to you. If there's anything I can do, I'm entirely at your disposal.
Constantine Dimitrievich, may I ask why you were so angry with Kitty?
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Darling Alexandrovna, I wonder how you can ask such a question, knowing that I made an offer and was refused.
What makes you suppose I know?
Everyone knows.
Well, I did not. All I knew was that something had happened that made her dreadfully unhappy, and that she begged me never to speak of it. And if she would not tell me, she would certainly not talk to anyone else about it. Do you know, I'm awfully sorry for her. Far sorrier than I am for you.
Thank you.
Your pride is hurt, that's all. But for her, poor girl.
Darling Alexandrovna, I'm leaving. You must excuse me.
Wait! Sit down. If I were not so fond of you, if I did not know you as I do.
What?
You're a man. You're free to make your own choice.
As was she.
Oh, cost you think. You men, you decide you like a girl. So you come to the house, you watch her, perhaps you become friends. You wait to see if you found what you want, and then when you're quite sure, you make an offer.
It isn't quite like that.
Never mind, you make an offer. But a girl is not consulted. She's expected to choose. Yes, no, just like that.
And so she did.
At the time you asked Kitty, she was wavering between you and...
Vronsky!
Yes. But she saw him every day. You seldom. Supposing she had been older. I, for instance, could not have hesitated. To me, he was always a shallow little popinjay, and so he has proved to be.
Darling Alexandra, I appreciate your confidence in me, but... Wait. Popinjay?
Yes, popinjay. A preening poser, a deceitful dandy, a conniving, canoodling coxcomb. Kostya?
No, whether I'm right or wrong, any thought of Katerina Alexandrovna is out of the question, utterly out of the question.
You are absurd. Don't go, stay, have some tea.
Forgive
We
me.
won't speak of it again.
Forgive me, Daria, but I've just realised I have some urgent business I have to attend
You
to.
have not. Cat. Oh, my dearest girl. Oh, I expected you tomorrow, but how glad I am to see you now.
Katerina Alexandrovna.
Constantine Dimitrievich, you will have dinner with us tomorrow, 5 o'clock. Not evening dress. Good day.
God help me, there is no creature on this earth who could focus all the light, all the meaning of life for me with one glance. There is the only possible solution to the riddle of my life. I love her.
A depraved woman! I knew it! I've seen it all along, though I tried out of pity for her to deceive myself. No honour, no heart, no religion. But I'm not the guilty one, and I cannot be made unhappy because a despicable woman has committed a crime. For my own part, admitting that certain irrational ridicule falls to the lot of such men, I always felt nothing but sympathy for a cuckold. That's a misfortune that may befall anyone, think of Menelaus. She is dead to me. Whatever may befall her or her son is of no consequence. But should I fight a duel? A great many would think that the only solution, but what sense is there in murdering a man in order to define one's relation to an erring wife and son? Besides, I'd have to learn to shoot. And then it's far more likely that I, the innocent victim, would be killed. It's out of the question. Thankfully, my friends would never allow the life of a statesman whom Russia needs to be exposed to danger. But what then? Separation? Divorce? Scandal? Impossible! My enemies will triumph and she will run straight into the arms of her lover. No, the only way to conceal what has happened from the world is to keep...
Alexei Alexandrovich,
What do you want?
sit down, please. I have something to say to you.
Well?
Alexei Alexandrovich, I am a guilty woman, a bad woman, but I have come to say that I cannot alter anything.
I expected no less of you.
I never wished to be deceitful. I love him. I am his mistress. Do you not hear me?
I'm not obliged to hear you. I ignore it, and shall continue to do so for as long as the world knows nothing of it, and my name is not disgraced. Therefore, I simply warn you that our relations must remain as they always have been, that only if you let yourself be publicly compromised shall I be forced to take measures to secure my honour.
But our relations cannot remain the same. I cannot be your
The
wife.
kind of life you have chosen is reflected, I suppose, in your ideas. I have so much respect and contempt. Respect for your past and contempt for your present, that I was far from the interpretation you put on my words, though indeed I fail to comprehend how, with the autonomy you show, informing your husband outright of your infidelity while seeing nothing reprehensible in his apparently, you can find anything reprehensible in performing a wife's duties in relation to her husband.
You saw.
Nothing.
But the truth.
Does not exist. There's no such thing. How terribly naive you are, my dear. What a sad little fantasy you've constructed for yourself. He's not your husband, I am. Therefore he does not exist, and your pretty liaison dwells only in the world of make-believe.
What is it you want of me?
You will conduct yourself so that neither the servants nor society will find anything to say against you. That is not too much to ask. In return, you will enjoy all the privileges of a respectable wife without fulfilling the duties of one. In adopting this solution, I am not casting off a guilty wife, but giving her the opportunity to mend her ways. And indeed, difficult though the task will be for me, I shall devote part of my energies to your reform and salvation. I shall make it a rule to see you once every day. For this purpose, and so as to give the servants no grounds for conjecture. You will not see him again.
Alexei Alexandrovich, you may do as you like with me, but I cannot change anything.
That's all I have to say to you. I shall not be back for dinner. Oh, yes, I almost forgot. My son will go to my sister's. You may not visit.
You were doing that to hurt me, but you will hurt him too. You don't love him.
If I have lost my affection for my son, it is because it is impossible to disassociate him from my loathing for you, nevertheless.
Cruelty is something I didn't know existed in you.
Oh, you call it cruelty for a husband to give his wife the honourable protection of his name, and on one condition that she observe the proprieties. Is that cruel?
It's worse than cruel, it's base.
Base! What is base is to abandon husband and son for a lover while you continue to eat your husband's bread.
You cannot make my position any worse than I feel it to be myself. But Alexei Alexandrovich, I beg you, leave me, Seriosha. I shall soon be confined. Leave him. Me.
Fine. Let's do. I hate you! I hate you!
You do as you wish with me.
Don't! You're into false dignity, you're pretense, you're a whore! You say that I care nothing for my son, but you are the one who's betrayed his trust! You're a liar! You think only of yourself! The feelings of a man who was your husband hold no interest for you! What do you care that his whole life is in ruins? What does it matter to you when he is... Sit down! I have something to say to you. I'm going to Moscow tomorrow. I shall not return to this house again. You will hear what I decide through the lawyer to whom I shall entrust the divorce. That is all.
Oh, thank God. Thank God. What of Seryozha?
Why do they argue? No one ever convinces anyone, you know.
Yes, that's true. It generally happens that one argues fiercely simply to make up what one's opponent wants to prove.
I know. One must find out what he's arguing for, what is precious to him. Then one can beat him to the ground and jump on his bones.
Yes, you're right. What a funny laugh that Tolstoy has.
Have you known him long?
Oh, everyone knows him.
And I see you think he's an awful man.
Not awful, just nothing to him.
Oh, but you're wrong. And you must give up thinking so directly. I used to have a very poor opinion of him too. But he's a wonderfully good-hearted man.
How do you know what kind of a heart he has?
Last winter, soon after you came to see us, all Daria's children had scarlet fever. And only fancy one day, when he happened to call by, he felt so sorry for her that he stayed for 3 weeks and cared for them like a nurse.
Did he now?
Oh yes, it was wonderful, noble of him.
Well, then I'll never think ill of people again.
How long it is since we've seen each other?
Wait, there's something I should like to ask, if you permit.
Please ask it.
Could you turn away?
Turn away.
Yes, just where you are. Like so. When you told me before that it could never be, did you mean never? Or then? Don't.
Then I could not answer differently.
Only then?
Yes.
And now?
I'll tell you what I should like. Should like so much.
Yes.
If you could forget and forgive what happened.
I have nothing to forgive or forget. Marry me.
Yes.
So, not time to leave us after all.
No!
You'll have to go to confession again, you know. Oh, that's it. That's what it's all about. Family is sacred.
I'm not angry that I sent for you. I absolutely had to see you.
I'm angry, my love.
I did not tell you last night that after Alexei Alexandrovich saw us in the garden, I confronted him. I told him everything.
Good God. Why, that's wonderful.
Wait.
I hope that now you will leave him. I hope that you will let me plan our life together.
Please listen. This morning, Seryozha was sent post-haste to his aunt. I was not permitted to see him, not even to say goodbye.
I'm sorry.
My husband has gone to Moscow.
To secure a divorce?
Yes.
Why, this is more than we might have ever hoped for.
But my son, Alexei, he will never let me have him.
For God's sake, which is better, to leave your child or to keep up this horrible
But
facade?
why should the two be mutually exclusive?
Because it is the law. My dearest love, Seryozha does not belong to you. I'm sorry, but it is so. You knew this when we began.
I knew nothing, no more did you.
Perhaps. Yes. Perhaps. But we must move forward. We should rejoice.
Rejoice?
Yes. My love, I have been at an utter loss to know what to do for the best. If your husband had been ready to face me, to stand up for his honour, that I would have been able to express my feelings, but such weakness is alien to me.
John, it's ridiculous.
At last we can finally end these deceitful circumstances in which we have been living and begin our life together. So yes, I do rejoice. I will not apologise.
How can I live without my son? Do you not see? I love equally two beings, and the one excludes the other. I can't have both, and so I don't care about the rest.
Anna, you must take the happiness that is offered to you. Can you not see it? Will you at least try?
Yes, I will.
Come.
Alexei Alexandrovich Karenina.
You know my name.
Like every Russian, I know you and the valuable work you are doing.
Thank you.
What may I do for you?
I wish to break off all relations with my wife.
You desire my assistance in securing a divorce?
I do.
Divorce by our laws is possible in the following circumstances. Physical defect in either party, desertion without communication for 5 years, and adultery. I take it there is no question of either physical defect or desertion.
There is not.
Adultery then?
Adultery.
She?
Yes.
Your wife is adulterous and you are a cuckold. You were deceived, humiliated, unmanned, usurped, disenfranchised, neglected, rejected. Then? Well then, the most usual, simple and sensible arrangement is adultery by mutual consent. That is to say, both parties agree culpability.
What?
Two people cannot go on living together. Here you have a fact, and if both are agreed upon it, the tiny details and formalities become a matter of no importance.
Explain yourself. I don't understand.
Your wife is adulterous. In order for you to secure a divorce, you too must plead guilty to a fictitious act of adultery.
But I am not guilty of such. How can I in all conscience?
It is the way the law works.
Preposterous.
Nevertheless,
I can produce written evidence. She has letters from her lover.
direct evidence is required, that of an eyewitness.
Impossible.
Not at all. In fact, if you would do me the honour of giving me your confidence, I shall be happy to arrange everything. In order to secure a result, one must not be shy of the means.
Very well. If that is so, I shall communicate my decision to you by letter.
How did I not see this would happen? Of course he has gone back on his word. The law has come to his aid. I will not compromise my reputation nor that of my sons by consenting to the legal duplicity required to secure a divorce. We are where we began again, and yet he knows that while I breathe I cannot repent. He knows that nothing but lies can come of it. He knows, and he doesn't care. Oh, the hypocrite! Maintain the grounds by all means while the house falls to ruin within. People say he's so religious, so upright, so clever. They don't see. They don't know that for 9 years he has crushed my life, literally crushed everything that was living in me. Why must we lie so? Haven't I striven with all my life to find some meaning in my life? Haven't I struggled to love him, to love my son when I could no longer love my husband? But when the time came when I realised that I was not to blame, that I was alive, that God had made me to love and live, what then? Our life must continue as before. But how? It is over. My dream. And what a vague slip of a dream it was. Stillborn. I shall never know freedom in love. I shall always be the guilty wife, deceiving her husband for the sake of a disgraceful liaison with a man whose life she cannot share. Our child will belong to him. And how can I tell Alexei that everything must continue as before? Far worse than before. That I cannot be stronger than myself.
Excuse me, Mum. The courier has orders to wait for an answer.
Tell him. Tell him I comply.
Eternal God, that united them that were separated, and hast ordained for them an indissoluble bond of love, bless thy servants Constantine and Katerina, and incline their hearts to good.
Blessed be our God, now and hereafter.
Vouchsafe for them a love made perfect, peace and help.
O Lord, we beseech thee.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, now and forever.
Amen.
Rejoice, O Isaiah! Kiss your wife, and you kiss your husband.
Look at Constantine. How few men know how to behave on these occasions and not appear ridiculous. And Kitty, dear Kitty, I was married in the evening too. I remember how sweet I looked that day. How absurdly in love with Stephen I was. Absurd, that's the perfect word. What did I know of him then? What do any of us really know of those to whom we entrust our hearts? I cannot help but think of my women friends. Of Anna. She was there too once. Just as young, just as innocent in her veil and orange blossom. Renouncing the past, stepping forward into the mysterious future. And now, strange and terrible.
There he is!
The cuckold of Petersburg.
Too delicate for a divorce.
They say he spends all his days in Moscow now.
While his wife waits expectantly at home.
Alexei Alexandrovich, I am so glad you came. How is my darling Anna?
Quite well, I believe, Darya Alexandrovna. I have not seen her for many months.
Forgive me, Alexei Alexandrovich, it is not my place to ask, but I love and esteem Anna like a sister. I beg you to tell me what is wrong between you.
How can you not know?
I don't believe it.
One cannot deny facts. She has treated her duty with contempt and betrayed her husband.
You must be mistaken. Don't say that, for God's sake.
I would give a great deal to have any doubt.
I'm so sorry. Is it true that you are resolved on a divorce? Stephen is beside himself.
I'm resolved on nothing. For the last 8 months I've been in a delicious limbo of distinctly public indecision, but then I expect you know that too.
I take nothing on hearsay. But oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that. Anything would be better than divorce. She would be nobody's wife. She would be lost.
The life of Anna Arkadyevna can have no interest for me.
Wait! Listen. My husband betrayed me too. In my anger and jealousy, I wanted to give up everything. But I came to my senses. Anna saved me. And now here I am. My children are grown up. My husband is coming back to his family. He's growing nobler, better. I live on.
With doubt?
No, I don't allow it. I have forgiven fully, completely. You must forgive too.
I cannot. Do not want to, nor do I think it would be right.
Love them that hate you.
That does not apply to me. I'm not hated, I hate.
Beg your pardon, Your Excellency.
What is it?
Trick, no doubt. There is no deception she would not stoop to.
I implore you to come.
Implore. The melodrama.
I shall pass easier with your forgiveness. Anna, you must go to her.
Perhaps to make the child legitimate, to compromise me.
She would not lie.
You don't know her!
What if it's true? Supposing she, in her final moments of agony, is genuinely penitent, what kind of Christian would refuse?
You're not right. Everyone would condemn me. It would be foolish, cruel on my part.
May I go with you?
Certainly not.
Then please give her my love. Tell her I think of her often.
I've no time to spare. Good day.
Oh, Anna!
Alexei will not refuse me. He cannot. I'm speaking of Alexei Alexandrovich. How strange and terrible that they should both be Alexei, is it not? Oh God, when will he come? You think he won't forgive me? But he will. One must know his eyes. Seriozha's are just the same. Just the same. Oh, please let him come. What? Quick, give it to the nurse. It will hurt him to see her, my little girl.
I've done so already, my love.
Oh, fetch her back again. Oh God, he won't come. He won't. Oh, help me, please, Alexei. I'm so afraid. Don't let me go before. But I shall go to Rome. There's a little wilderness there, and I shan't be in anybody's way. Only I'll take Seriozha and the little one, and there will be peace. Only peace.
Thank God. How is she? The doctors say there is no hope. I'm entirely in your hands. Only let me be here. Anna! Anna! He has come.
He has. I knew. Please, I've no time. I wanted to ask you, to beg you, to forgive. I know how impossible that must seem, but I wanted to tell you that I understand now. I see it all. There is another woman in me. She frightens me, but she is part of me too. When we were married, I did not know her. I was too young. It was she who fell in love. She who could not save herself. She wanted so much to live. Do you see? And I tried to hate you and forget the self I once was. But Alexei, the truth is, I am both women, the wife and the whore, the light and the shade. They've come again. Why won't they go away? Oh, it's impossible. You can't forgive me. You can't. Get away. Leave me.
Anna!
Oh, you are too good. I knew you. I knew. Thank you. Thank you. Alexei, give him your hand. Uncover your face. Look at him. He is a saint. Yes. Yes, give him your hand. Thank goodness. Now everything is ready. How badly those flowers are drawn. Not like violets at all. God, some morphine, please. Oh God. Oh God.
So suddenly. Please.
Alexei Alexandrovich, I'm unable to comprehend.
Then hear me have a minute and explain. I came here in anger. Even hoped for her. For the first time in my life, I know my own heart. I saw her and forgave. How could I not? You may trample me into the mire, make me the laughing stock of the world. I will not forsake her, nor utter a word of reproach to you. I will stay by her side with punishment. Should she want to see you, I will let you know, but now I've I think you better go.
Please.
Get some sleep.
All is over. Never shall be again. I've lost everything. We must give her up now. Relinquish her forever, but I cannot tear the sorrow from my heart, nor erase from my memory the happiness I have known. Moments that prized so little, that haunt me with the power and sweetness of all their charm. What else is there? There is no life for me without her.
Yes. They attract all the sap and give a false appearance of prosperity. Interesting. A whole month's married! Oh, I can hardly believe it. Between you and I, it is not entirely as I anticipated. Not that I'm not happy. I am. But there is something almost shamefully effeminate about my present mode of life. I've practically given up all of my ordinary pursuits. I hardly ever walk or drive about the land. Either I'm loath to leave her, or I see she is unhappy alone. Of course, it's not her fault. But apart from her interest in home improvements, she appears to have no serious pursuits of her own. I blame her education. Too superficial. Frivolous. Sometimes everything between us is so free-flowing and glorious, I can hardly tell where I end and she begins. So much a part of one another have we become. At other times, everything between us seems so different that it's almost cretinous.
No one will obey me. Agatha Mikhailovna insists upon treating me like a child. I showed her my improvements for the storeroom, and she just sighed and shook her head at me.
She'll come round. She doesn't like change, that's all.
I know, but still. Do you like the new curtains in the guest room?
The what?
You haven't noticed, have you?
Kitty?
Never mind. I don't want to disturb you. Go back to whatever you were doing. I shall just rest here for a moment.
Well?
It's nothing. I was hoping you'd look around.
You've got a little curl loose.
A little curl. Oh, yes. No, you're busy at your work.
What's this?
Oh, yes, letters. This one's from Daria. This is from Papa. And here, I opened your letter too, but I didn't read it. What is it? What's the matter?
It's from my brothers. Maria Nikolaevna. My brother's friend.
Yes?
Yes.
Kostya, I know who she is. What does she write?
Nikolai is very ill. I must go to him.
Of course, when?
Tomorrow.
Good, I shall come with you.
You will do no such thing.
What do you mean? Why shouldn't I go?
Because
Yes?
Lord knows how I shall get there, or what sort of inns I shall have to put up at.
I don't care.
You say that now, but Lord knows how you'll behave when there is no hot water for your bath, or hot chocolate for your breakfast.
Constantine Dmitrievich, how dare you treat me like a child? Where you go, I go too. And if you can come up with no better reason than that for my staying, then please excuse me while I go and pack.
Kitty, you're being unreasonable. Just think a little. You don't really want to come with me. You just dislike being left alone, and this is too serious a time for me to give way to your weakness. If you think you might be lonely, go to Moscow for a while.
There! You always ascribe contemptible motives to me. It wasn't weakness. It's my duty to be with my husband when he's in trouble.
This is dreadful to be such a slave.
I don't think I'm a slave.
Not you, me.
You? You're a slave? Then why did you marry? You could have been free. Why did you if you regret it so?
Kitty, stop. Please, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm willing to swear that there is not a trace of regret in my heart for the loss of my freedom. Give me a moment to think and we can discuss this after supper when we are both calm.
Very well. But you'll be wasting your breath, for I shall go with you, whatever you say.
How strange to think that I, who such a short time ago had hardly dared believe in the happiness of her loving me, are now unhappy because she loves me too much. That woman! That she should be in the same room as Nikolai's common wench. It's unbearable, unthinkable. I'll not allow it. Kitty!
How are you, my love?
Better, I think. No, stay a moment, please. I cannot have any secrets from you, nor do I wish to. Count Vronsky wishes to come and say goodbye before his departure for Tashkent. He was hurt, you know.
Of course he knows.
I have said I cannot receive him.
You said, my dear, it would depend on Alexei Alexandrovich.
Truth now.
I'm very grateful for your confidence in me, but it is for you to decide whom to receive for yourself.
No, I can't. I don't want to.
Let him come.
Alexei Vronsky is the son of honor.
He's going away.
Away.
And I am grateful for your decision, my love. There is no necessity for Count Vronsky to come here.
No necessity at all.
Take leave of the woman he loves.
For whose sake he tried to kill himself, ruin himself.
To bid farewell to the woman who
Cannot live without him.
Let us never speak of it.
Loathsome man.
I've just sent for the doctor.
Whatever for? I am quite well.
No, it's the baby. But she keeps crying, and they say the nurse hasn't
They
enough
will
milk.
be the end of her. Why didn't you let me nurse her when I begged to? I wasn't allowed and now I'm blamed.
So I'm not blaming you.
Oh, yes you are. Yes you are. Sorry. I'm upset. I'm not fair. But leave me.
Leave!
leave.
My dear.
Please. God. How can I live like this? He holds me so tight.
His kiss is so wet.
His breath.
His hands.
Repulsive.
I was unhappy before. Thought it impossible to be more so. But I could never have conceived of this. Knowing without a shadow of a doubt that he is a good, excellent man. That I am not worth his little finger. I have heard it say that women love men even for their vices. Well, I hate him for his virtues. He suffocates me. I can't live with him. Do you understand?
We do.
We do.
Poor little girl.
There is nothing left for me now but
Death.
At her bedside, I finally allowed myself to feel compassion. I've never known such peace. The very source of my suffering became at once the source of all my joy. I love her. I feel affection for their child, pity for them both. I want nothing but to be of use, to offer kindness, solace, protection. But as she recovers, I see that, however natural this may seem to me, I will not be allowed to continue. She's changed towards me. She demands something of me, but what I cannot tell. It would be better, far better, for her to break off all relations with Alexei Kirillich, but if that is not possible, I would rather their relations resumed, providing our children are not disgraced, than to have a complete rupture which would place her in a hopeless, shameful position and rob me of everything for which I care. But society will not allow it. Society will insist upon divorce. Unlawful in the eyes of God. And my boy. To leave him with his mother is out of the question, but if I keep the child myself, it will seem an act of vengeance, and I don't want that. I am ready, willing, to take all of the disgrace upon myself. But no matter what I do, what I sacrifice, I feel certain it cannot ever come to good. Besides this blessed force which guides my soul, I feel another, brutal, more powerful, which controls my life. There will be no peace. Life as man has devised it will not have it so. Society will not. The hypocrites.
Are you in pain?
Not at all. It was only an accident. Please, speak of it.
Here? I hope after this you will give up shooting yourself by accident.
Yeah. I still cannot believe it.
Yes, you have taken possession of me and I am yours.
So it had to be, as long as we may live.
There is something terrible in this after all that has happened.
It will pass. We shall be so happy.
Is it really possible that we could be like husband and wife, alone together, with our own family? I cannot believe it quite.
It only seems strange to me that it could ever have been otherwise. What is it? How pale you are.
I'm still a little weak.
I shall take you to Italy. You will soon get well.
But you hate Italy.
When did I say that?
I heard you once. You said it was dull and that you could not endure it for longer than a few days. This would be exile.
Nowhere could be dull with you. What is it? Why do you not smile? You will be my wife and I your husband.
No.
But Alexei Alexandrovich...
Has agreed, I know. But I cannot accept his generosity.
Anna!
I don't want it. Not without my son.
But with our daughter?
You don't understand. I feel as though I were flying headlong over some precipice.
I shall catch you.
No, I feel that I ought not. That I have no right to save myself.
You are being foolish, though.
Foolish? I'm trying to speak the truth. Would you rather I lied? That we begin our life together in the same way I began my last? I have made that man wretched, and I refuse to profit from his misery. How can I? I have done wrong. I too am suffering. I am losing what I most cherished. I could name my son. I deserve it. And so I don't want happiness. I don't want a divorce.
Anna!
Alexei Kirillich, do not ask me to be something I am not.
Very well.
The inn where we're staying is one of those provincial establishments which has the best of intentions in terms of cleanliness and comfort, but which is speedily converted by the public into filthy pothouses. A couple of hours ago this room was nothing but dirt and disorder. My poor brother, utterly wretched. Kitty has been incredible. She has had everything washed and cleaned. has helped Nikolai in ways I could not have imagined, given him comfort, hope. I would never have thought.
I don't like cruel servants and I can't live to alone. Can you?
I'm afraid to.
Go and look in my room. You'll find a little bottle in my handbag. Bring it, please.
Damnation! What are you all fidgeting about for?
Kostya!
You did not expect to find me like this, eh?
Why didn't you let me know sooner? I made inquiries everywhere.
She's a good girl. With you I should have gone well long ago.
Does she know what to do? Why I'm so helpless and useless. If I don't look at him, or if I look at him, you think I might be watching. If I don't look, he may imagine my thoughts are elsewhere. If I walk on tiptoe, he won't like it. To tread too firmly seems wrong. I don't even know how to talk to him. But she seems to know instinctively exactly how to be and has no fear, while I feel only terror.
I asked the doctor. He says he cannot last more than 3 days. But how can you be sure? Anything is possible.
I must own I'm very, very glad you came. I can't stop seeing him as he was when he was little. You wouldn't believe what a dear chap.
I can quite believe it. I feel so strongly that we might have been friends.
Kitty?
It's nothing. You must excuse me.
No, go away! Don't go!
I must. For a short time. Forgive me.
Angel. It's for you. Why are you even here? You despise all this.
Don't you?
Oh, tell me, what's happening at Bukoska? Is the house still standing with the birch trees? Oh, well, I remember the arbour and the seat. Mind, don't alter anything in the house, even though you're married.
You must come and see for yourself.
One would think it would be a good thing to leave all this mess and muddle one's own and other people's. You and I can't deceive ourselves. It's all a farce. This is what I pin my faith to.
Enough, Nikolai Dmitrievich.
Leave me alone. You think she doesn't understand things? She understands better than any of us. Like your wife. Talk to me. Tell me of the world.
The world. Spring is slowly unfolding. Warm winds, storm clouds swooping. Last week, the rain fell in streams. On Thursday, the wind dropped, and a thick grey fog brooded over the land as though hiding the mystery of transformation. Then there was the flowing of water, the cracking of ice, the swift rush of turbid, foaming torrents. And in the morning, the sun rose, brilliant, and the warm air quivered with the steam rising from the quickened earth.
Spring.
Yes. Soon the young grass will thrust up its tiny blades, and the sticky birch buds will be swollen with sap. Larks will trill unseen over the green fields. Peewits will wail above the lowlands and marshes. Cranes and wild geese shall fly high across the sky. You will see, my brother. You will see. Nature shall renew.
The sun never seems to stop shining here. It's quite draining. In Russia, the weather has the good sense to appreciate that its populace need variety, not the odd thunderstorm followed by heat, humidity, and heat. I admit I'm not entirely happy. At first, I enjoyed all the charm of freedom in general. I was content for a while. Now I find myself clutching at every fleeting caprice. Politics, new books, painting. 16 waking hours of the day must be filled somehow. Perhaps if we had married, but no. The lady will have her way. Yes?
A courier has been, sir, to discuss the business about the palazzo. The agent is prepared to sign the agreement.
Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Is Madame in or not?
Madame went out for a walk, but has returned and will descend presently.
Very good. Anything else?
The Russian gentleman has been inquiring after him.
What's his name?
Kolenichev.
I'm sorry?
Kolenichev.
Ah, thank you. Why don't you just learn how to speak Russian? Golenishev. Why is it these fellow countrymen always seem to pop up whenever you don't wish them to? It's like having a large bruise you don't want to knock. Still here?
Pardon me, sir, but he said he would wait for a reply.
Oh, take his card. How irritating. Still, he may provide some slight diversion from the monotony of my life. Venice, Rome, Naples. Oh, how I hate sightseeing. What a wasteful, futile pastime. And why is everything here so dry and dirty? Spots on the curtains, cracks on the floors. It's a constant eyesore. And as for any bachelor amusements, one slight attempt in that direction brought out such an unexpected fit of misery in Anna, quite out of proportion with the slight transgression of a late supper with a few of one's male acquaintances, that I dare not even consider repeating the offence. I think a change is absolutely necessary. We will go to Moscow. I shall make arrangements with my brother there about the division of our property, and we will spend the summer together in the country at my family's estate. Of course, it will not be easy, but public opinion will have surely progressed now beyond its ancient prejudices. The divorce, or lack of one, is simply a formality. Anna is already my wife. It is only a matter of time before she is accepted as such. As long as we may live on cramp.
Alexei Kirilich, how happy and relaxed you look.
Ah, my love, so I am, so I am.
I've left only with the nurse. Marcello tells me that the palazzo is ready and that we might take a look. Would you like to? I'm sure it will make a fine studio for your work.
Will you commission me?
Of course.
I shall paint a full-length portrait of Madame entitled "One Needs to Know Her and Love Her to Understand and Discover the Sweetest Expression of Her Soul." What do you think?
A little rambly, perhaps, but I do not object.
Wait here. I shall fetch your sunshine.
I have never felt so happy, so unpardonably full of the joy of life. All that has gone before seems little more than a fevered dream from which I have awakened abroad. With my love, I meant to suffer. It seemed only right, but the truth is, I do not. I feel as a drowning man might, having shaken off another man clinging to him in the water. That other was drowned. It is wicked, of course, but it was the only way to survive. I cannot brood. The desire for life, waxing stronger with recovered health, is so intense, the conditions so novel, that I cannot help myself. Oh, here we live, and know nothing of the outside world. Oh, to have him entirely to myself is a continual joy. His presence always a delight. all the traits of his character so infinitely dear, fine and noble. There is nothing I dread so much now as losing him, losing his love. I have made my choice, as indefensible as it was, and that choice was him, only him. My love, look at the sky, and the clouds not perfectly tinted with rose and gold.
Ah, perfectly. Come.
Karenin!
Where is your wife?
Where is she?
Where is she?
Go away! I found it rather difficult, yes, to reconcile my recent act of forgiveness with my present position. For several months I've made every effort possible to act as though nothing unusual has happened, but they will not let me forget. I have left Petersburg, come to Moscow with my son in the hope that we might outrun the shame. They will not let us. In the past I never troubled to think what it would mean to be so utterly weakened before my fellow human beings. With my previous knowledge of others, I imagined that I would have thought such misery would be greeted with concern and apricots. But no. People are merciless. They are of that primeval force that roars of forgiveness, snarls at the proffered hand, and greets the meek only to destroy as dogs might cull some poor maimed cur howling with pain. I am lost, unable to keep up any further semblance of firmness or composure. There is nothing.
Alexei Alexandrovich, I'm forcing my way in.
Lydia Ivanovna, I am not at home.
I can see that. My friend. Oh,
I am not well.
I know. I have heard it all. Dear man, you must not give way to your grief. You must find consolation.
I cannot.
Seek it. Not in me, though I beg you to believe in my constancy, but in him. Our sustenance is love. The love he has vouchsafed for us. Oh, cher ami.
I am weak. I am crushed. I foresaw nothing, and now I understand nothing. I'm so humiliated.
No, not you. Lift up your head. Shame has no right to sit upon so noble a brow.
At dinner yesterday, I very nearly got up from the table because I could not bear the way my son looked at me. I cannot understand. I can find no words to explain.
Yes, Cherie, yes, I understand. A woman's guiding hand is needed here. We will take care of your young angel together. If you will trust me, I will set to work. No, merci pas.
I cannot help thanking you.
Thank him and ask his help. In he alone do we find peace, salvation, and love. Now, I will go to Seryoja and we will have a little chat.
But what will you tell him?
That his father is a saint, and his mother a mort.
Katya, it's not good for you to be standing. Sit.
I'm not an invalid, Kostya.
Nevertheless.
Are you ready?
I think so. I don't have to go.
You should. You've been so anxious of late. It will do you good.
How do you feel? Will it be soon?
I have so often thought so that now I realise I know nothing about it.
But you're not frightened?
Not the least little bit.
Well, if anything happens, I shall be at Katavarsos. Ah! Metrov's article! I knew I'd forgotten something. Katavarsos promised to introduce me.
Is he going?
Yes, I've asked Papa to put his name down at the club so he can make a day of it and come back refreshed. I don't think he's been fully himself since Nikolai.
Oh,
what is it?
you wicked child!
Got it. I think I shall go to the courts while I'm there about my sister's business.
And the theatre?
Not alone.
No. Oh, do go. I know I
And you can stand in the corner all day and have dinner by yourself.
Would you have a talk with Stephen when he returns? Daria's position is becoming unbearable. She's in terrible debt. The children don't even have coats for the winter.
Of course I will.
She is a nasty child. I don't know where she gets her disgusting habits from.
What has she done?
Oh, I can't even say.
When does Stephen return from the shooting trip?
Several weeks at least.
Socks!
Honestly, Kostya, you ought to let me help you.
Sit down.
And a good thing for you that Anna arrived on the scene when she did. She spared you what would almost certainly have been a similar fate to mine.
Daria, shush.
I never liked Vronsky.
What's the use of talking about that? I never think about him and I don't want to.
What's that you don't like to think about?
Oh. You stay in that corner!
Excuse me for breaking into your feminine parliament. Ah, of course. That's where it is.
Kostya! Honestly, Daria, I hope he didn't hear us.
The thought of Vronsky still makes him miserable.
Yes, now shush.
Turovtsin tells me they've been seen in Moscow, Anna and he.
What's the matter with you today?
Oh, nothing. I'm just worn out. Marsha was restless all night and now she's woken up capricious. I never seem to get a moment to myself, nor never shall. Yes, it all comes to this. One bad decision when you're too young to know any better. And then a lifetime of anxiety, sickness and debt. While your dearly beloved wanders around at liberty, sticking himself to other women.
Daria!
To this day, I don't know whether I did well to listen to Anna that terrible time she came to Moscow. I should have left him then, started life afresh. Then I might have loved and been loved for myself. But then, who is to say her way is any better or worse than mine? At least she tried.
I don't wish to speak of her.
Kitty, you have no right to be down on Anna. Listen to me. You are one of the lucky ones. You have a husband who you love, who loves you. Anna never loved hers, and he always was so terribly, terribly cold. How is she to blame? She wants to live. We are all born with that need in our hearts. Now she is isolated with a man. So unlike the man you have chosen, darling girl. And who has chosen you? You of all people should not condemn. Not when you came so close yourself.
Ready?
Ready.
I shall come and wave. I don't care what you say. I saw something in her, something diabolical. She was
Alexandrovna, no, that's nothing but jealousy.
That may be, but if you have any sense, you'll keep away from her.
I shall do no such thing. I've been wanting to see her for a long while, and if I get the chance, I certainly shall. She is a fine woman. Oh, Masha, run along, my child. Of course, Mama still loves you. Forgiven, forgotten.
It's so quiet here. When we first arrived in Moscow, Alexei took me out to call upon our acquaintances from the life before. I thought him wondrously naive. She insisted, so I went. And every single butler at every single house gave exactly the same reply. Madam such and such would be delighted to receive Count Vronsky, but is not at home to Madam Karenina, now or ever. I've never seen Alexei so shocked. He turned quite pale with anger. No matter. I have no wish to be received. All I care about is him. And my son. It's terrible to admit, but I hardly thought of Seryozha when we were in Italy. Every moment seemed new to me there, as if I had been reborn. No past, no future, just him. Shameful, but the truth. Yet from the very first moment that Alexei determined we should return to Russia, I have not ceased to think of my son. Then, when we arrived in Moscow, and I discovered that he was here with his father, the necessity of seeing him became my sole preoccupation. I shall.
Annie!
Annie!
I cannot go to the house, but I have written, and I trust he will be magnanimous.
Separate rooms.
Different floors.
Separate beds.
Bolted doors.
for the best. I cannot share this with Alexei. I know he would consider my seeing Seryozha a matter of small account. He would speak of Annie, refuse to understand. But I must see my son. I have so much I want to say to him, so many kisses owed. My sweet boy, my little child. The darkness is calling to me. Soon, soon all will be over, and we shall have peace and suffer no more.
Soon.
Soon.
Soon. I expect a reply at any moment. I hope. I hope.
Pardonnez-moi, Alexei Alexandrovich. I ran into deadly dust Sir John and he insisted on telling me all about his life in India. I simply couldn't get away. How is our angel?
I can't say I'm entirely satisfied with him. He displays a certain indifference towards the essential question which should touch the soul of every man and child.
He has his father's heart, and with that he cannot go wrong. What is it?
Anna is here. I do not think I have the right to refuse her. He is her son.
My dear friend, there are limits to everything. How dare she come to Moscow, where you are, demanding to see the son Ella abandonné? One is never free of surprise at the audacity of the wicked.
Oh, but who shall cast the first stone? I have forgiven all, so I cannot refuse what her love for her son exacts.
Your sentiments do you credit. But what of our angel? Il pense qu'elle est morte. He prays for her, beseeches God's mercy on her sins. What will he think when he sees her alive?
I have not considered that.
If you ask my advice, I would say don't do it. Spare yourself and your child. If she had a grain of humanity left. But no, it is not my place to say. There is no spot for her in heaven, that's all.
Countess, you are the one lone islet of kindly feeling in the ocean of hostility that surrounds me. I should be guided by you.
Then you must write to her at once. Gently, peut-être, but firmly, that she may not mistake. And then we will pray for her, Alexei Alexandrovich. With all our hearts, we will pray.
Anna! Anna, wait!
You were late. You missed the best part.
I'm a poor judge of music. Anna, I warned you. Why did you insist on going?
It's all your fault.
But I begged you not to. I told you it would be unpleasant.
Unpleasant, like a man in the stocks. For as long as I live, I never shall forget it. She said it was a disgrace to sit beside me. She whispered,
Whore!
"Slut, spat at me. Never in a million years could I have been so cruel."
Silly woman's chatter, but why risk it? Why provoke it?
Oh, I hate that self-possession of yours. You ought not to have brought me to this. If you had loved me.
What has my love to do with this, Anna?
His love. What love? Stop it! If you still loved me as I loved you, if you were tortured as I am, you stop loving me! He blames you.
Why wouldn't I told you before you went that I would not be a party to such willful folly? That if you attended the theatre, you would not merely be acknowledging yourself a fallen woman, but throwing down the gauntlet to society. I learned my lesson, why can't you?
I won't hear it. He doesn't.
Who doesn't? Anna!
Wife is a worry.
The whore is worse!
That's what he thinks.
I'm not a whore.
Delicious slut!
Why did you make me come here? I was happy in Italy, away from the world with you. Do you think I don't understand my position here? Of course I do. From the very first moment that I sacrificed everything for you.
Good love.
Don't call me that. From the first moment I knew I would be cast out. What have you given up?
My ambition, my freedom, my sanity.
Don't make me laugh. I support your every whim.
Whim!
You go to your bachelor dinners, your Athenian night society embraces you while it rejects me. To them, you're some kind of hero.
Not anymore.
But you were.
My mother
Oh,
told
don't you speak to me of her. She was there tonight. I saw her. She said nothing in
you
my
will
defense.
kindly refrain from
She has no
towards my mother!
I know all about her countless liaisons. She's a hypocrite. Oh, please don't leave. You always leave. Just listen.
regret what I've done. No. If it were all to do again from the very beginning, I would do just the same. Just the same. For us. For you and I. There is only one thing that matters. One thing that remains. Whether we love each other. People we need not consider. But we hardly see one another. I love you. And nothing else matters to me, so long as your feelings have not changed. Why won't you look at me?
My feelings cannot change.
Cannot change.
He said cannot.
Not have not.
But cannot.
His eyes.
So cold.
I went tonight because I knew you would be there. I wanted to be with you. In the same room as you. Even if at a distance. Please. Please tell me you still love me. Tell me.
Tell me.
I still love you.
Oh, thank God. Then it is worth it.
I would have told you sooner. I have concluded the business with my brother. We can leave for the country as soon as ever you are ready.
Leave?
Yes.
Yes! Oh, yes! I can be ready now. I shall pack immediately.
But first, to bed.
To sleep.
Now.
To bed. Sleep, my angel. Calmly. Sweetly.
Presently, if you wish.
If I wish.
You go. I'll follow shortly.
Madam, to remind my son of you might lead to questions on his part which it would be impossible to answer without implanting in the child's soul a spirit of condemnation toward that which should be sacred to him. In the circumstances, I beg you to interpret my refusal in the spirit of Christian love. May Almighty God have mercy on you.
Seriosha.
Seriosha.
Soon.
Soon.
Soon. Oh, yes. I'm ready. I'm here.
What an extraordinary woman. She seemed to project such dignity, such depth, such truth. I never expected to feel.
Kostya, is that you? How long have you been back?
Not long.
Well, how are you?
I went to the theatre.
Good. What did you see?
La Belle Helene.
How was it?
Fine.
Fine. What was it like? Kostya.
I had a row about Wagner and that was that.
Wagner. But isn't it by Offenbach?
Yes, well, apparently you had to have a programme.
Kostya, what is it? You're acting so strangely.
Madame Karenina.
Who?
She was there. In a box. On the lower tier, quite alone.
Which box?
The fifth.
He counted.
I had no idea. I'd never seen her before.
Yes, you have. In Moscow. On the night tube. Oh.
I didn't notice her then.
And tonight?
Everyone noticed. Every last overpowered face was turned toward her.
Well, I'm surprised she had the nerve to show herself in polite society.
Believe me, Kitty, there was nothing polite about them.
Go on.
I don't wish to speak of it. Suffice to say, people are merciless.
And she?
Remarkable. Serene.
Remarkable. After all you've said of Nikolai's woman.
Kitty, you're angry with me.
Oh no.
I only meant to say that she seemed a very sweet, very unhappy, good woman.
Of course she did.
What? What is it?
You're in love with that hateful woman! She has bewitched you! Yes, yes! I can see it in your eyes! I shall go! I shall leave! I shall leave!
What is it, Kitty?
There's nothing.
Oh, Kitty! Oh God! Help me! Protect her! Ought I to send?
Oh, don't. Please, don't be frightened. There. It's all over now.
Sure.
Quite sure.
I'm so sorry, Kitty.
Don't. It's of no consequence. I was just making a scene. I do that sometimes. Forget it happened. You are never yourself in town. I know that.
Kitty. Who am I? What is it all for? Unending endeavour and struggle? I've been trying to understand, to reason since Nikolai, but I can't.
Forget reason. You must live for your soul. Here. Oh, I can feel him kicking.
I think it's a boy.
I know it. You are tired, my love. Come to bed.
To live for one's soul, not for one's passions, one's pride, one's intellectual folly, but for something incomprehensible. Can she be right?
Kostya!
What if the only incontestable wisdom I possess is here and cannot be rationally explained? I had little previous knowledge of Madame Karenina, fleeting opinions founded upon hearsay and prejudice. Yet I know, without a doubt, that what occurred tonight was vindictive, hypocritical, and wrong. I know this without facts or evidence, in spite of everything society might say. I know it here. But how?
Constantine Dmitrievich, come to bed!
Yes, coming! Why do I feel so happy? Can it be that I have stumbled upon a truth? What if the standard for good and evil lies not in what people say or do, not in progress, but in ourselves and our own hearts? For years I have been in search of an answer to the problem of existence, but reason could not give me that. It has been given to me by life itself through my knowledge of what is right and what is wrong. And this knowledge I did not acquire in any way. It was given to me, as it is to everyone. Given. I know my soul, and I treasure it. What could be a greater miracle than that? Now this is the reception room.
For the doctor's quarters?
That's right.
The paint's already dry, Alex said.
Ah, splendid. The speed of which they work.
But
Yes.
the pediment is still too low. I said all along that the foundation ought to be raised. I shall have a word with the architect, if I can find him. Excuse me, Daria, I shan't be long.
Oh, of course. Will you have a maternity ward? It's so necessary in the country, I've always thought.
Oh, I hadn't thought. Perhaps. Daria Alexandrovna, you are the only one of Anna's women friends to come and visit us. And I know you do so not because you regard our position as normal, but because you love her and want to help her. Am I right?
Well, yes.
I'm not as heartless as you may think me.
Oh, I don't.
Nobody feels the burden of Anna's situation more deeply than I do. You can conceive of no emotional torture worse than she endured in Moscow, and I beg you to
Yes, but
believe...
here, so long as neither Anna nor you Mrs. Society...
Society? What need have I of society?
Well, so long as you feel like that, and perhaps you always will, you are happy and at peace. I can see that Anna is perfectly happy. She has already told me so.
Yes, but can it last? Whether we have acted rightly or wrongly, we are bound together for life. I live and work here. I have an occupation in which I am proud, I am contented in my love. But I fear for my future. I need to know that my legacy shall prevail, that I shall have heirs. My daughter is by law not my daughter, but Karenin's. And someday we may have a son, and he too would belong to Karenin. Imagine how I would feel. Yet Anna refuses to see.
But what can she do?
Karenin agreed once to a divorce, and I feel certain he would not refuse it again now. It is just a matter of her writing to him. Of course, that in itself is one of his petty little cruelties. He knows it is torture for her to even think of him, yet he must have a letter from her. But the divorce is of such importance that she must do it. Help me to persuade her.
Of course.
Well, what did he say?
That I was right, of course, but what's done is done. I'm very skilled in architecture, you know.
So you are. Anna has become my first point of reference for any technical question. Now, I shall leave you both, for you will have much to say.
Glad I am to have you here. I'm so relieved that you will see me as I am, rather than as I am rumoured to be.
Why haven't you written to me?
I hadn't the courage. How's Kitty? Tell me the truth, Daria. Is she still very angry with me?
Angry? Oh, no. But you know, there are things one does not forgive, apparently.
Yes, to forgive she would have to go through what I have gone through, and may God spare her that. Is she happy?
Oh, very. She and Kostya have a little boy.
A little boy? How old?
Nearly 6 months. Mitya.
Mitya.
Anna, I wanted to ask...
May I tell you a secret? When Alexei and I were in Moscow, I saw Seryozha. I went to the public gardens on the last day of our stay there. I knew he would be there on one of his walks. I wore a veil. I watched him playing, talking to himself. He'd grown so much taller, so much thinner. But he was still my Seryozha. Suddenly, he turned towards me and stood quite still. And I could tell that he understood, that he knew it was me, and that I loved him.
I'm so glad.
I will not see him again. I know that. And really, what kind of mother deserts her own child? I deserve to be shunned.
My dear!
Oh, forgive me, Daria. My mind wanders so. Sometimes I would give anything to go back. Start afresh. It's all nothing, don't you think? The glory, the meaning for which we strive is nothing to a summer's day. Barefoot, running, till your legs can go no faster, and laughing. But I interrupted you, I think. You were going to speak of Alexei. What did he say to you?
He spoke of something I wanted to ask you of myself. Whether it isn't possible to improve your position. You know how I look at it, of course, but all the same.
You mean a divorce? What else?
He suffers, on your account and on his own. He wants to make his daughter legitimate, to be your husband, to ensure your future children have a name.
Oh, I shall have no future children.
How can you say that?
I don't wish it. The doctor told me after my illness. But why? To my mind, I have two alternatives. Either to be with child, that is an invalid, or a friend and companion to Alexei. Remember, he is not my husband. He loves me as long as he loves me. When he grows restless, I feel it. So easily discontented, it's all I can do to keep ahead of him. Projects, committees, you'll see. Soon he will spend half his time away from home, and I shall be left alone again. Of course I cannot force him to stay. I would never try to hold him back. And my greatest fear is that he will cease to love me, and how am I to keep his love? Like this?
Then you must get a divorce.
Oh, if it were possible.
I was told your husband consented. Anna, you must do something. You must...
What? What can I do? Not an hour, not a day goes by without my thinking of it. I can't go to sleep without morphine. You want to discuss it? Fine. In the first place, I did write to him.
You did?
Alexei doesn't know. I didn't ask him for a divorce. I simply wanted to see my son. He refused outright. He's under the influence of the Countess Lydia Ivanovna, that malicious old crone who calls herself a Christian, and is, I am certain, at the very base of every one of his decisions.
Try again.
Suppose I do humiliate myself by writing again. I shall either receive an insulting refusal or his consent. Good, I get his consent, but I shall be legally, permanently separated from my child.
But you just...
I know what I just said, but it doesn't matter. Don't you understand? It's already over. I've ruined myself. I've ruined my son, the man I love. Nothing I do will ever alter it. How can I have failed so completely? Be not yet old, yet know my life is over. Nothing matters. Nothing. And it will all end one way or another. And so I don't like to speak of it.
Anna, listen to me. You are not thinking clearly. There is no perfect love, no perfect way to live. You are here, now, and with your future to think of. Anna, you must secure your position. Anna, you cannot go back, nor change the past. Believe me, you must simply look elsewhere.
You make it sound so easy.
It is. Think of it like a game. Look, there is a cloud. Do you see? Look at that. There is a tree. Look at that. Simple. Present. Anna, it is so for all of us. But you must make a choice. You can live here, now, looking forward to a wonderful future. Or you can look back with sadness and regret. Anna, do you understand? Your mind is stuck in the past. Do something definite. Take the steps towards your future.
It is not right.
Is it right that Stephen does as he does, yet I am not permitted to do likewise or leave? Oh, promise me you will try. Anna.
Oh, I will try. Oh, forgive me, Daria. How foolish I am become. I think too much of myself and see what silliness comes of it. Don't listen to me. I am happier now than I have ever been, truly. Come, let's talk of you.
Anna? Well, how is Annie?
Oh, it's nothing. She's better.
Your letter said pneumonia.
It was not as serious as I thought.
Indeed. Well, that's something. And how are you? Did you sleep?
My thoughts kept me awake, but I passed the days pleasantly enough. Steva was here 2 evenings ago.
Good. So you've not been lonely.
Lonely. You said you would come home with him, but you did not. You stayed on.
I did.
Of course you did.
Anna, we've been through this. I have duties.
Ah, yes. The duty of going to a concert, or the opera buffet.
It is not up for discussion, Anna. I wanted to stay, so I stayed.
But no note, Alexei. I was frantic.
Thankfully, you had our daughter's fabricated illness to divert you.
But she was sick. Oh, you don't believe me. You're vexed with me for sending for you. I can see that you are.
Of course I'm not.
Do you think I lied?
Maybe you exaggerated a little. Anna, why are you so irritable? Don't you know that I can't live without you?
But you do. If you knew what this means to me, how I feel when you are hostile to me, as you are now, as if I were on the brink of calamity.
What are you talking about? What's all this for? Come, tell me what I can do to give you peace of mind. I'm willing to do anything.
He's lying!
Don't listen.
It's nothing. It's nothing. I don't know myself whether it's this solitary life. I try not to hear them. Come, let's not speak of it. How was the boat race?
Oh, quite enjoyable. But in Moscow, you know, they can never manage without doing something ridiculous. Some woman or other appeared on the scene, the Queen of Sweden's swimming instructress, to give a display.
What, do you mean to say she's swag?
Yes, in some sort of red costume d'adaptation. A hideous old creature, really. You would have laughed.
What an absurd idea. Was there something special in her swimming?
Not at all. I told you, it was awfully silly.
But it sounds so strange. Hardly truthful. And she was wearing red, you say? Are you sure she was old?
There's that demon again.
I'm not jealous.
Then what, Anna? I go into society because I must. Don't you trust me? Haven't I told you over and over again I haven't a single thought but you?
Are you sure she was
I
hideous?
never lie, Anna, especially not to you. I respect you too much.
Respect was invented to cover up the empty place where love should be. And if you don't love me anymore, it would be better and more honest to
This
say
is
so.
becoming unbearable. Why must you try my patience? It has its limits.
What do you mean by that?
What is it you want of me?
What can I want? All I want is that you should not abandon me as you were thinking of doing. No, I don't want that. I want your love. And it is gone. So it is all over.
Wait, what is this?
You know yourself. Abandon me. Abandon me. What am I? A wanton. A millstone round your neck. I shan't torment you any longer. I'll set you free. You don't love me. You love somebody
I'll
else.
never cease to love you and I never shall. There is not the slightest foundation for your jealousy. I love you more than ever. Anna, why must you do this? Why?
What else am I supposed to do? You don't know what torture it is to be always waiting for you. You go when and where you choose. You have all the rights. While your mother tries to make matches for you. You have the rights. I do not, and knowing that you ought to have more care of me.
Anna, this is cruel. Why, it is you who have forced me away, remember?
No.
You are forever trapped in your mind. Imagine if I indulged myself in the same way you do, chewing over every little paranoid detail.
Paranoid.
If I devoted hours, for instance, to the incontrovertible conundrum that you love the child of a man for whom you never cared far more than you could ever love our daughter.
Don't say that.
You dwell, Anna. You're an addict. Not the morphine. You are utterly, obsessively preoccupied with dark thoughts. You need an occupation other than me. You say you are insecure, then do what is necessary to secure your position. Right to Karenina, for heaven's sake, and stop over-dramatizing each slight transgression of mine.
I did right.
When?
6 weeks ago.
I'm sorry, I can hardly believe it. What did he say? Nothing.
Not a word. Which is a response in itself if you think about it.
Nothing.
I have said.
You poisoned my existence!
Catastrophe.
Poor darling.
Get back. He's right. I have driven him to it. How can I blame him?
You can.
You must!
She loves another.
Younger!
I don't believe you.
You do.
When did I lose my way?
Long ago!
Far away.
I must go to him.
No! Don't! You are not permitted!
Love.
You're poison.
Remember! I am to blame. What am I worth?
Nothing!
Loved by those I love. Yes, it is just as I expected, just as I thought. At first he gloried in me, now he is ashamed of me. He has long ago ceased to love me, and where love ends, hate begins. There's no way out. Life is sundering us, and I am the cause of his unhappiness and mine.
Yes. Yes.
My love grows more and more passionate and selfish, while his is ending. And it can never, ever be otherwise. My need arouses his disgust, and that excites his resentment, and there's no help for it. I want love, and it is gone. All that's left is duty. Help! I'm not thrown into the world to hate, to torture ourselves and one another. I thought I loved my son, yet I have lived without him. I
I exchanged them for another love and did not regret it so long as I was satisfied. I must end it. What can I do?
Escape!
Escape! How?
Anna, I'm sorry.
You will be sorry for this. This is nothing more than a cruel jest by some inimical power to which I will not submit. Each one of us holds the means for escape in our own hands. An end must be brought to this dependence upon evil, and that end is...
Death! 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 Death!
She ended as such a woman deserved.
Even the end she chose was low and vulgar.
It is not for us to judge.
What you say? She was a wicked woman.
Stanley's desperate passion.
All for the sake of being original. Well, she was that all right.
Lord help me, but I can't help hate her memory when I think of the ruin of my son.
God, I'm so tired. They are right in their judgment of me, yet I rebel against them with all my soul, for they are guilty too. I was a truthful woman.
Can't we do something?
Anything. There is no solution but the universal solution life gives to all questions.
You must live in the present, as the moment requires.
Anna, it is so for all of us. Do you hear me? Anna, remember that I love you and shall always love you as my dearest friend. Alexei!
I'm here, my love.
You will not come.
I want nothing but to be of use.
Vengeance!
To offer kindness, solace, protection.
I have brought him to ruin. I must pay. It's only right.
Only right.
I've deliberately shrouded the light in your eyes, but it gleams forth, brings over. I see it.
Alexei! Alexei! Dimitri, where am I? What am I doing? I'm so afraid.
What if the standard for good and evil lies not in what people say or do, not in progress, but in ourselves and our own hearts? Madam Karenina.
What does that matter? I'm a woman of my time, and I have made choices that cannot be forgiven.
By whom? It's your story. Change it.
How? It is written as the only way for me.
By a man of his time. That time is long ago. Perhaps he would not write so now. Claim your own story.
But I have no future. It doesn't exist.
Nor for any of us. Make it up. Make it a good one. Enough of the old stories. The old despots. The old hardened way of thinking. You have suffered quite enough. You must decide what you deserve. Anna, what do you deserve?
I'm not sure. But not this, though. Not this. For those of you hoping that this time I might not jump, I thank you. God bless you. For those I've disappointed, I would give you my compassion. I will concede no more to those who encourage me to believe I must be punished over and again, while they are punished not at all. Listen. Do you hear? The life may be suppressed, but it is not yet silenced, not yet ended. It is so for all of us. Steady, steady, do not mistake. You already know. Our future is in our own hands, and God forgives us everything.